Hello there, everyone, and welcome to episode 79 of the Play to Win podcast. Sure, we break down the week's biggest gaming news through in-depth discussion. I kind of messed up the wording and pronunciation of the word gamer right there. Kind of do a bit of an in on the top of it. It's fine. It's all good. We're going to keep it moving. My name is Tyler. I am your host this week, and I'm joined by my new co-host, Tyler, over here from Good Game We Lost. How are you doing, good sir?
What's up? I'm doing pretty well. Excited to be here. The dual Tyler podcast era or arc has begun.
It has begun. And you know what's funny, when you and I talked about you coming on and everything, in the back of my head I was like, if this wasn't a gaming show and this was just like a casual, lifestyle, daily, whatever, we talk about whatever type podcast, we could call it Two T's in a Pod, and it would be the perfect title. Tell me,
I don't know what I expected, but I knew there was going to be some kind of Tyler pun there, but I wasn't sure. No, that would be good. That'd be good. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Should be fun. Our previous episodes have been fun. So yeah, ready to buckle in. And if you're here listening, appreciate you. Listening to us, obviously. Also, just want to let people know right away, comment below if you're here because of my TikToks and or YouTube shorts. Because I got a decent little following on both of those. So I'm hoping I can bring in some people. We can get some people watching that way. And if you're confused, wait, why is this not the same channel? Obviously, you got your answer. I'm gonna be here for a few months. I'm guesting here. But keep listening to them after if Kieran comes back and I'm no longer here, but also keep listening to me at Good Game We Lost.
Yes.
Listen all around.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. I do want to say again, I told you before, but I do want to say again, thank you, Tyler, for, no offering to come and help out and, just like fill in that gap, the co-host gap that Karen was going to leave and all like that, because like, I'm sure I would have handled and managed on my own, but when you don't have a co-host, there's a dynamic. There's a dynamic that's just missing there and all. Like, it's fine for like an episode or two, but like long term, it's just very, very different and all.
We don't have to pretend here. Hosting your own podcast by yourself solo sucks. Maybe like if you're getting the big bucks, it's like, oh yeah, I was making, Bill Simmons or any of these big podcasts for money. I do it by myself all the time, but like when it's just for fun, when we're out here doing it for love of the game, it sucks. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, so it's awesome that you're here. I'm looking forward to having, a bunch of fun talks with you about gaming news in the coming weeks and months and everything like that.
Best time of the year to be on too. This isn't some June through August, whatever, it's like,
we're in the heat of it. It's about to be right, like in the thick of things for the holiday season. Give away
the episode too much, but just looking forward to all this stuff that's coming out.
Let's go. It's crazy. So remember, yes, as Tyler said, if you're coming from his TikToks and YouTubes, leave that and let us know in the comment section down below, or let us even know on Twitter as well, at Play to Win Game over on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know over there, like, hey, came over from Tyler's stuff over on YouTube and TikTok. Enjoy the show, so on and so forth. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way, as soon as new videos go live. And if you are on podcast services, subscribe there, leave us a 5-star review. It helps a whole lot. Algorithms are tricky and navigating them, that 5-star review helps out a whole lot. This episode, Tyler kind of hinted at it. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. Last week, there was no episode. If you saw on Twitter or Instagram, I was physically, mentally burnt out. It was a very long, strenuous week. I was super tired and I did not want to put out just an episode just to put out an episode. Quality is important and I don't want to put out anything that was subpar. So a lot of stuff happened last week.
You mean you're not just quiet quitting on the pod? You're not just showing up and
no, not just gonna be here. It's like, okay, well, this happened and it's a thing.
At that point, it's just a rundown.
Exactly. I didn't want to do that. So we're going to be talking about some things that happened last week, like the rumors about a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster or remake. Hermen Hulst talked about some PlayStation stuff. We saw the Super Mario movie. We got our first look at it. CD Projekt talked about some stuff. We're going to talk about those things briefly at the start of the episode, because the main the main chunk of this episode, the main meat and potatoes of it, is going to be really looking forward to the rest of the year, rest of the big releases for this coming year. What we're excited about, what we're thinking of them all. Yes, get hyped, because some of these games are super exciting, super hyped. It's going to be a fun episode. Looking forward to it. So without any further ado, we're just going to get into this. We're going to start by talking about the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster / remake. And the way we're going to do this for each of these things, we're going to try and truncate into like the first 20-25 minutes of the show. I'm going to spend like 5 minutes on each one.
Hold us accountable. If you see that in the timestamps, or if there's, I don't know if there's timestamps. If there's not, if you see the timestamps, this is over 5 minutes. Give us shit in the comments. Like, let us know. Hey, this is not the 5-minute recap for each point that you promised.
It is right. So I'm going to try and hold us accountable by having a little stopwatch here.
None of these topics are worth more than 5 minutes. When you've got fall games to get excited about.
Right. If it was a regular week, if it wasn't a backed up week, then yeah, we could have. But because there's a whole lot, we want to try and get things together, and we could do it in 5 minutes because some of the stuff is old news. So we're gonna start the timer.
Do we get rollover minutes?
No.
Do we talk about Horizon for 7 minutes? If the other thing, no, I'm just kidding.
That maybe we'll make a case for some of these. We'll see. Anyway, we're gonna start the timer for Horizon right now. 3, 2, 1, bam. Horizon rumors. Apparently, it's going to be getting a remaster or a remake. The source of it came from MP First, basically saying that Sony and Guerrilla, they're going to be doing an updated version of the game. So we don't know too many specifics, but they're saying that it's going to be better lighting, animations, character models, and all like that. Basically, trying to get it up to par with Forbidden West that came out earlier this year. There's going to be some new graphics modes available, some new accessibility options that Forbidden West had that the Zero Dawn did not. Other new quality of life features, but we don't know what those are. And of course, this spawned like so much hate and everything. People on the internet were like, no, why? Especially coming right off the back of Last of Us Part 1, which was the source of discourse for many, many months and everything. So this kind of started a new bit of discourse. Tyler, where do you fall on it?
So this is where I fall on it. Sony, give me a fucking break. We can bleep that out if we need to.
I forgot to say we normally don't. I'll keep it in there. But we normally don't. I forgot about that. I forgot to remind you about that. But keep it going. It's all good.
Give me a break. So on social media, and this is something I feel like it's a part that games journalism misses. There's like a whole community of people out here, especially that like talk about retro games, where the attitude is modern games suck. And it's just like, I'm dying on the hill that no, they don't. They're actually very good. And then this happens, and I just feel like I look like a clown for defending anything going on. I'm just like, oh yeah, but modern corporations suck so much. Like The Last of Us, you can definitely, like, I get the discourse either way. You can justify it, or you can also be like, hey, this is only 10 years old. But at the end of the day, like, you don't have to buy it. There's no harm. This just like actively sucks because resources should not be like pushed towards this. Like, we don't need a remake, obviously.
Yeah,
just give it. The PS5 update is fine. Like, nobody's out here like, this game sucks.
Yeah,
all the memes where it's like what Sean Layden sees, or not Sean Layden, whoever it was, Hermen Hulst, or Jim Ryan. What Jim Ryan sees whenever he sees Horizon from 2017, and it's just like, a bunch of pixelated stuff. Yeah, like they're fun. It's good for the memes, but oh my god, like, stop, Sony. Like, Sony's my platform of choice. I love my PlayStation consoles, and I'll also defend the PS5. Like, the PS5 has had a ton of good games, and people are like, oh, there's 3 games. Tell me you don't play a variety of games without telling me you don't play a variety of games. But Jesus, man, like, stop with this. We don't need $70. You can't just remake everything and get $70 for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, for me, when I first read this, I was just like, come on. I was like, all right, like, Last of Us, I could see both cases. Like, I could see both sides of the discourse, and a case could be made for that. This, I'm like, accessibility options, that's great. I can understand, like, older version of the game, like, if it could have supported in the engine, but the new version can, that's fine. That's awesome. But other than that, if there's no real substantial additions to the game, it doesn't need to exist, So that's why I felt, and I was a bit more upset about it before than I am now, like a week removed from it. Like, I've tempered my anger on it some. And I saw something that Gene Park said from Washington Post. Mm-hmm. I'm paraphrasing here, but basically he was saying, like, also congratulations on him finishing chemotherapy and everything.
Yeah, I saw that too. Woo, congrats,
Gene. I saw something from him saying, like, he's thinking of it like Spider-Man Remastered, which 2 years later on 2020, that was like part of the Miles Morales super special edition or whatnot, and that was just like a essentially better character animation. I mean, better models, better lighting and everything, better textures. It was basically what this is, seemingly, for Horizon. So it's like, if it's like that, that's fine. And also, that was 2 years after Spider-Man came out. This is 5 years after Horizon. So like, when you have that perspective, it's like, okay, like, I guess it's better, but it's really going to live and die by that price. Like, how they price this is how this will live and die.
Yeah,
if it's a $70 thing, that's
$20. If it's a $20 upgradable option for whatever Horizon's third game will be, I don't think anyone will have an issue with that. It's, whatever, people, somebody $20, blah, 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 it's fine. The discourse, that then it'll all be pointless. But I think my main takeaway is video, because there's obviously, we'd have context if we knew what it is. Video game companies, you're probably not listening, but if we go viral, listen to me. This is the last thing we need to say about it. Treat every situation going forward as if your shit will be leaked, because I promise you it will be leaked, and we will find out about it, and we will laugh and we will make memes unless we know the context. So just Sony, announce it now. Tell us what it is. That way we can all just be like, oh, that's fine. Move on.
Basically, we went 1 second over there. I just want to drop in one last thing about Horizon from all this stuff here. They're also apparently working on a separate multiplayer project. We don't know when it's coming out or anything like that. Multiplayer was rumored for the first Horizon, but no, it was in the works, but they scrapped it because they couldn't make it work. Yeah. I would be so on board with the multiplayer Horizon project. Give me, Monster Hunter vibes in the Horizon world. It's just begging for it. So I'm all on board with that. Take your time, make it right, make it great. I'm happy. I'll be there when it comes out.
Okay, just for the record, I am anti-multiplayer Horizon. Not that I'm mad at it, just that I'm not here for it. I would show the record.
He's not here for it, and I'm to each their own. To each their own. You'd rather hunt.
But I'm not a Monster Hunter World guy either. So or a Monster Hunter guy, period. So I can understand like how that may appeal and come across as that way.
I'm not a Monster Hunter person either. I mean, I've only played the beta for World, and I played it for like an hour, and it was at a time. It was also during a time like my internet sucked, so like I really couldn't enjoy it the way I wanted to. But I really feel like you just put that type of thing into Horizon, and like it writes itself. The check writes itself right there. It just makes sense. Now we got a bit more PlayStation stuff to talk about because Hermen Hulst did give an interview about PlayStation's future. Starting the timer now. And he talked about a couple things. One of them being first-party games coming to PC day and date. This has been a discussion point for a couple of years now since they've been porting their games to PC, and we've been wondering, hey, are they eventually going to do day and date for their big first-party games? Or is it just going to be years later? Is it going to be a couple months later? What's it going to look like? And we've seen the gap kind of shrink in with some of their more recent releases. Hermen Hulst confirmed it's probably going to be like about a year or so between console release and PC release, which makes the most sense. Well, I mean, I think it makes sense for Sony's strategy. They still want console to be their main focus, although they're branching out and they're expanding to PC, and they see PC as another way to kind of like revitalize a game's audience and all like that. So 1 year later, I think that makes the most sense. But he did say that the live service games that they're kind of starting to expand into, those games will probably be coming to PC day and date with console, because for a live service multiplayer game, the audience size is what the game lives and dies by. And if you stagnate that and just like launch on PC a whole like 6 months after console, you're kind of sending your game to to die on arrival.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I think these live services are going to be very similar to Overwatch, to Fortnite, whatever it is. I mean, they're a live service game, and I mean, they'll probably be multiplayer, we assume, or like single player-esque, like Destiny 2, but it's like, it's not really single player, but like, it's got like missions and things of that nature. So yeah, you can't, I think to foster that, you probably need the PC audience for sure. And you need a lot of it'll probably be free to play or cheap. So you want that bigger player base, and microtransaction assault to death. It seems like how it all works.
Lord.
But yeah, I think this is fine. I think the Sony fanboys that are mad probably that PC ports exist or whatever, like, you're gonna have to live with this. This is what it is. But at the same time, like, I also think people that are like, oh, we just want it day and date, like, that's never gonna happen. Or if it happens, it'll be a long time. Like, it's gonna take it's on a long enough timeline, maybe everything will happen. But
yeah,
I think console exclusivity is here to stay, whether people like it or don't. And it's part of Sony's overall their business platform. They can't just, hey, everybody gets to play our games. Like I know everybody wants to say, yeah, if everything can be on the same platform, and Microsoft's kind of leaned into that because of course they have, because it's beneficial for their business model. But I don't think Sony's done, I rightfully just ream them for everything with Horizon, but I don't think wanting games to be exclusive to your platform for at least an X amount of time there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, neither do I. I think it's fine for what they're trying to do. And they're also they're adjusting. They're adjusting on the fly. They're adapting the best way they can with what they can, and also and so forth. He also talked about the fact that apparently that there will still be more games coming to PS4 on a quote case by case basis. Now, I hope this does not mean in my mind, this means live service games. This does not mean they're big tentpole single player games like Spider-Man, like your God of Wars, past God of War Ragnarok, of course. To me, I don't I'm pretty sure Insomniac already confirmed Wolverine is PS5 exclusive. They already said that for Spider-Man 2 as well. That's PS5 exclusive. I don't imagine the next big game from Sucker Punch will be on PS4. Same for Polyphony, whatever their next Gran Turismo is going to be. Same for Naughty Dog's next big single player AAA thing. Those things I imagine will be PS5 exclusive, but I think maybe for another year or so, any live service games that come out will probably be PS4. And that makes sense, I think, because again, you want to have a big audience for those. PS4 is still a huge player base there. So capitalize on that, put it on PS4. Cool. You are still kind of hampering your game design by 10-year-old hardware, which is frustrating and annoying. But for live service games, in my eyes at least, I can make that mental compromise as opposed to the bigger single player AAA games, those tent poles where I want your game to take full advantage of this newer, more powerful hardware.
I mean, you could argue that all free to play live service games have inherently compromised game design because they want to play it. They want people, as many people as possible on every platform possible to play it. So that stuff, it makes sense. My boo is strictly for, I swear, if there's another first party exclusive, because it's one of those things. People will complain if it's on PS5 only, it's exclusive to PS5, but then they'll also turn around and be like, there's no good PS5 exclusive games. You can't have it both ways. And I'm very, very firmly on the side of no offense. If you only have a PS4 out there, I'm sorry, but the game runs like ass on PS4 anyways. I'm sorry. I don't think a lot of people out there were having fun with Elden Ring, chugging. You probably would not have wanted to play whatever version of Returnal would have been on the PS4. Just hey man, you're gonna have to play older stuff or third-party stuff. There's just that point in time for every console's life cycle. So to pretend it doesn't is weird to me, especially because we used to have such hard and fast cutoff dates. The 3 to 4 was just right there. You were just if you have a PS3, we don't care. You're out of luck now.
Yeah. So I feel eventually the cutoff has to come, like you're saying, and we're in 2022. 2023 is we're about to hit the cutoff needs to 2023. I would like to no longer hear about PS4 announcements for some of these, for a lot of games, not just from Sony, but just companies in general. We need that cutoff to happen. Of course, the pandemic screws things up. It is what it is. That throws everything out of whack. So you got to play it by ear essentially and just roll with the punches. But that is that. And the last one, we're a minute over, but I'm going to allow it real quick. PlayStation Productions, they're saying that they may make TV shows or movies based on some From Software IP, since, they've recently invested in that company some. Elden Ring, they've already said they want to, not them, From Software has already said they want to, expand that universe, that world and everything. What are you thinking? Would you want an Elden Ring movie or a TV show?
No, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about The Last of Us show. I'll probably watch it because I love The Last of Us so much. But I don't turn on the TikTok camera. This is something that I'm going to clip. I do not care. Stop trying to get me to care about. I love these video game franchises as video games. I will buy ridiculous merch because I love those video game franchises. Put the effort into making sweet merch. Stop trying to get people that don't care about video games to care about them, because it's maybe they're just, if this is all for contracts, if this is all just to have a giant contract by Hulu or whatever streaming service thrown at you so you can do that, I get it. It sucks, but I get it. But if this is like, if you genuinely believe that like there's going to be a bunch of moms out there that watch fucking whatever this Elden Ring is going to be and be like, let me turn on a Front Software game. It's not happening. So it's just, I don't know. I don't care about whatever cinematic, whatever worlds they're trying to create within TV shows. Plus, it's probably all going to suck. Like, it doesn't have a good track record. I just do not care. This is like willing to die on this hill. It's not important. It's just not. Even if you're like, it's good, it's not important. Like, it ultimately doesn't change how these video game franchises function.
You don't want to hear stories about how the soccer mom was like, you know what? I watched like 5 episodes of the Bloodborne TV series before I had to go pick up John and Sam from soccer practice. And then as soon as we got back home, I hopped on and started playing Bloodborne for 10 hours straight.
This is now going to make me sound like a hypocrite. But also, I said all of that. The one caveat is, if we get Bloodborne 2 out of this, maybe I'll watch whatever you need me to. Let's just get Bloodborne 2 going.
That'll do it for you. That'll do it. The Bloodborne.
It's not going to happen, but, you know, cue the don't give me hope meme.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Bloodborne fans. That also, like, the Horizon thing also spurred up all the Bloodborne fans. They were like, where's a Bloodborne remaster? Come on.
I mean, yeah, if we're talking games that need a remaster, Bloodborne's right there.
I've been playing it somewhat this year. I can agree.
And we'd all just pay $70. Like, people like, that's the one would be like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just pay the 70.
All right, let's move from Sony. Let's talk Nintendo now. Not a Nintendo game, but a Nintendo movie, the Super Mario movie. We finally, at long last, got our first look and sound at this movie. And I am very impressed with it. I am way more excited for it than I thought I was going to be. Let me tell you, that movie looks awesome. Like, visually, it looks stunning. From, like, you know, art style, colors, animation, it's all amazing. I am really looking forward to this movie way more than I thought I was going to. I was like so into the opening gag with the penguins. They're just like throwing this stuff. He's like, that was just a taste of our fury. Do you yield?
Super Mario 64 deep cut was nice.
Which one?
The penguins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that they're from there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, visually it looks impressive. Like, it's a kid's movie. It's
right.
Like, I'll probably watch it because it's Mario, but I don't know. It's the whole Chris Pratt. It's just, to me, I'm in it for the discourse. I think it's funny to watch and read everything online. Yeah, Chris Pratt's Mario is, like, it's fine or just fine. Like, I don't care, man. I'm probably gonna watch it either way, but if you want me to pretend like it's good, I'm not going to go there either. It's fine. Right.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Chris Pratt's voice is Mario. I mean, for the 2 lines we heard, and like, they weren't even like the best lines at that, really. It was just like, where am I? And like, you know, here we come. Like, they're really not the best lines to judge a voice off of, in my opinion. But like, not great. Not great from sounding from what we did here. But I think it's fine. It's not like god awful like many people kind of make it out to be, in my opinion.
I just want to put it out
Jack
there.
Black do great though.
Jack Black sounded
Bowser
amazing.
Doing great.
As Bowser.
Michael Key is Toad, doing great. Yep,
which sounds fun. I just want to put it out there, Nintendo. I'll do whatever Chris Pratt. I'll do it for whatever Chris Pratt did, but I'll do it for half. Like, I'll just if you just need a voice, man, I'll show up.
Let's give us a taste. Like, you can't just say that and then not give Nintendo anything.
All right. What does he say? He's like, wow, where am I? That's all it is. That's all he gave people. I'm not gonna do like a hilariously awful racist Italian caricature here. I'll do the Chris Pratt. Wow, where am I? This is in Brooklyn. That's all. That's what this movie's gonna be. He's clearly coming from outer world and everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious, like, what Peach's voice is gonna sound like. I'm like everyone's voice, but I'm really interested in what everyone's voice is gonna sound like. I think they're gonna try their best to have them sound similar to the characters. And also just like the plot of this movie. Like, it seems like, you know, it's gonna be a thing of Bowser going for stars and gotta stop him and all. I wonder what other characters we're gonna see, like Yoshi's. Are we gonna see Yoshi's in this movie? We already know Donkey Kong's in it, so I'm looking forward to Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
It just looks great. I think the movie looks fun. I will be there for sure when it comes out. And like you said, it's a kid's movie. But yeah, like, it's also kind of for the fans that have been there since day one. But at the end of the day, this is a kid's movie, and the diehard, lifelong fans need to realize it's not solely for them.
Everything I said about Sony's properties not working to get people in, it will work here. Kids will be like, hey, Mario's actually kind of cool.
Right. You know, just like Detective Pikachu. Loved that movie. That was another great one.
Solid.
In my opinion.
Perfectly solid. Yep.
Now we're going to move to another company here that has that did, you know, their own game adaptation recently. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Have yet to watch it. I've heard a lot of great things about it, though. I'm going to be watching it soon. But CD Projekt, they kind of gave us the laydown for the next couple years of what they're going to be putting out. And I personally think it's pretty interesting. It's exciting. I'm also very interested and intrigued by the fact that they put this information out, period. Normally, you know, we don't really get information like this from companies like, hey, we have this many projects in the works and this is kind of what they are. Normally, this, you know, that's more like behind the scenes type things. We don't hear about things until official announcement. And of course, this was announced for like their investors and everything, just kind of told the public as well at the same time. But real quick, these projects that they announced are Orion, which is the code name for the next Cyberpunk game. It's going to be in the Cyberpunk franchise still. No further news about that. Then there's Polaris, which is a code name for the next installment in the Witcher series of games. And this is basically a whole new trilogy. Polaris is the code name for the start of this new trilogy. And this new trilogy, after the first game comes out, they want the following two games to be released within 6 years. So they want this whole trilogy to be done within 6 years of its first release. Ambitious, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do there. Then there's Canis Majoris, which is another full-fledged Witcher game, which is not connected to the new Witcher saga that they are starting with Polaris. A different studio is going to be working on it. We don't know who that studio is, though. Then there's Codename Sirius, which is a game that's being developed by the Molasses Flood that is also set in the Witcher universe. It's being made in support with CDPR. It's a smaller game. It's going to have some multiplayer in addition to single player stuff as well. Seeming interesting there. And then there is Codename Hadar, which is a third completely new IP, completely original IP from CDPR. They are making this IP from scratch inside their own building. And this is in the earliest stages of like their creative process. So the game is not actually being made yet. They're still working out what this is, what the world and everything is going to be. A lot of stuff from them. Really intriguing stuff. Tyler, where do you fall on it? What are you most excited for? Are you excited for any of this at all? Period.
So it's me. CD Projekt Red hater has entered the chat.
Oh boy.
That being said, I like transparency. I do think it's cool that instead of just like I mean, plenty of video games like outlets or just personalities have said before, like it's so weird the like level of secrecy video game companies try and like have with everything, whereas like movies and every other industry, it's like, yeah, we're making 12 of them, you know, like anticipate that for however long. Right. So it's cool to see this. I don't think CD Projekt Red, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe they've earned the benefit of the doubt. People are like excited and happy about the cyberpunk stuff, but it's like the blatant, like just dishonesty they displayed with everything regarding that. I don't think they've earned like a pass, but it's like, so I'm not going to be excited for it. But at the same time, like, I hope it's good. Like despite joking about being a hater, I'm not like hoping these games suck or whatever. The thing that I would say like kind of worries me the most is that trilogy within 6 years. I actually hadn't seen that bullet point prior to now, but like, yeah, that's a little concerning because I mean, with the crunch they've been rumored to have and everything, like you worry about that a little bit. But we'll get there. We'll have that conversation as the internet at large once it happens. But yeah, it's interesting, and I'm glad we got basically their version of D23 or whatever the hell Disney constantly has.
Yeah, it was just like, just like an investor briefing that they, that they had, and they kind of put the information out there for all of us. I'm not, I want to clarify, like, when I say like I'm excited for the games, I'm not like, the past is the past. Like, I'm excited at the potential of what these games could be.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they've learned the lessons from Cyberpunk. And I would like to believe that they have. Like, that was like a giant black eye on them, a black mark on them that they're never going to be able to actually get away from. without, proving that they've learned those lessons. So I'm excited that the potential of these new games, especially Cyberpunk, because that world is really rich to just like be explored. And I'm happy that they're continuing it. I wish it was next and not Witcher. I wish we were doing more with that. But I understand they're like, oh, we got to go back to the thing that people loved us for first before we
go back to your bread and butter, man. Go back.
Yeah. So
the people what they want.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it is that they do. But I do hope that, that they do sort out their crunch issues. They are hiring a whole lot more developers, and they're working on Unreal Engine 5 for the Witcher games as well. So you can imagine that should also alleviate a lot of the development troubles that they did have with Cyberpunk. But again, it's the crunch and everything.
Also, quick note before I saw the future comment. So if you're commenting just like, oh, well, it worked for The Witcher. Yes, I know. I just thought about the fact that, I guess that strategy for shows worked for The Witcher. A lot of people played The Witcher because they had it. Just call me skeptical about other IP. I feel like The Witcher is an exception. How many other, I don't think a lot of people are going to play Cyberpunk because of this. I think it's kind of like a weird, Cyberpunk's a different weird exception. I think there's exceptions that we could write down. I don't think the strategy of just make all your video, it's not working for Twisted Metal. I can promise you that.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a game coming out at the same time. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But I also doubt that'll work out too, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. We're also going to see what happens with the Quest Pro VR headset that's just been announced yesterday, I believe, as of recording, or Thursday. I think it was Thursday when Meta announced this. Hate that name, Meta.
Let's not get started on that. That's a whole podcast in and of itself.
It is. The Quest Pro VR headset, though, this has been rumored for a very long time. It is priced. Let's start with the price. $1499.99, basically $1,500 right there, US dollars. And it releases on October 25th. Pre-orders are available now. It's a black headset. It's a bit slimmer than the Quest 2 is right now. It has some new controllers as well. It seems pretty neat. Technically, Xbox Cloud Gaming is going to be coming to it as well, but it's more like you're streaming your games, yes, but it's not like a direct VR version. It's more like when you play a VR game, when you're playing a game in VR, but you have the theater screen in front of you. That's how you're doing the cloud streaming for that. Meta also announced that they acquired a couple different VR studios. So Armature Studio, which made Resident Evil 4 VR, Twisted Pixel, which made Path of the Warrior, and also Camouflage, which did Iron Man VR, the exclusive for PSVR. And that's also coming to Quest on November 3rd, which I'm excited about. I wanted to play Iron Man VR, but I never had PSVR. I have a Quest 2, though. If I could sort out the issue of it falling down my face, I will happily play Iron Man VR on my Quest 2.
Now, the Iron Man VR discussion is a little different here because I don't think it was good, but also it was what it was trying to do with the PSVR. With the PSVR's limitations didn't make sense, so I could see it working better on Quest. I'm not going to be I think it'll be good, but I think it's a possibility. Also, man, I really hope they make PSVR 2 backwards compatible because you didn't have a PSVR, understandable. But let me tell you, I'll sing the praises of it every time I get Astrobot Rescue Mission. Better than a lot of Mario games, in my humble opinion. It is. So I've heard it is that good. But honestly, this with Quest, I think my just main takeaway with Meta, whatever, is this feels in line with their business decisions of it doesn't make sense at all. They've had massive success. It appears they've sold a ton of units, at least with the Quest 2, because basically they've graded them. They've put themselves out there as we're the consumer friendly, hey, $300 you can play VR. It's pretty solid. It works. It's cordless. It's wireless. And this instead now feels like a pivot to get people that are super hardcore into VR because $1,500, nobody's dropping that. The mom and dad you're getting that have bought Quest 2s are not buying this $1,500 Pro. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's a real market for it. Maybe I'm wrong. Because
the market for it seems to be more so businesses and everything. It seems like with the Quest Pro VR, based on just the details I heard, they're not going for consumer VR anymore with it. Consumer VR is going to be the Quest 2, but the Quest Pro VR seems like you said, either the super VR enthusiasts or businesses, because they're really Meta is trying to push the metaverse. And they were talking about hell yeah, you could be in here and do business meetings and all, or watch a movie with someone on a 1 hour to 2 hour battery life, because that's what this thing pushes out. It's just
Got it. So it will be a colossal failure is what we're talking about.
Kind of, sort of, essentially. Like in terms of the consumer side, it's not gonna. The market's not there. They're definitely moving away from like the consumer side in terms of that. So like if you're expecting more advanced VR stuff in terms of games from Quest, you're not going to get that. You're going to have to look to PSVR 2 or the Vive for that, or the Index. You know, it's not going to be coming from Meta seemingly for the foreseeable future, or if ever again, really.
Yeah, I won't be buying this.
Neither will I. I mean, only reason I even have a Quest 2 is because it was a Christmas gift. I always wanted one before that, but I was like, can I justify getting it if I know I might not use it too much? I really couldn't at the time, but then it was a Christmas gift. I was like, yeah, I got it now. So awesome. But the only reason I don't even play mine that much, as I said on the podcast before, is because I play it, and then after about half an hour, it just constantly sliding down my face. It never stays in place. So I need a counterweight to have on the back so I can actually play it for. I need something to keep it up on my face. That way it doesn't fall down. I was like, I'll be playing Beat Saber, and it's just like, yeah, we're here. And now things are getting blurry because we're sliding down your face. It's annoying. It's annoying. It didn't used to do that before, but that kind of started happening over time. So once I get that sorted out, then I can play.
Quick side tangent. What is your favorite VR game?
Beat Saber. I mean, that's really the only. That's the only one I actually bought on it.
I mean, it's like probably the right answer. I like, weirdly enough, me and my brother were talking about, he just visited, and he loves VR as well. But Pistol Whip, it's, in my opinion,
I want to play that one. And Super Hot. I want to play VR.
Yeah, those are, they're so different, but Pistol Whip is essentially Beat Saber and Super Hot had a child.
Yeah, like Super Hot, I know it's on PS Plus, or it was on PS Plus for a month recently, and I got it for the
past month.
Yeah, and I added it to my library, but like I've never played Super Hot because I'm like, if I play it, I want it to be in VR. Like the first time I heard of that game was in VR, and it's just like, that's just the experience. That's like the right experience for that game, not with.
It feels like it'd be weird. I've never played it non-VR, but playing it in VR, it'd be weird to go back and then.
Yeah, but that's all the news really from last week. So that's it. That's about it right there. I think we got through it pretty quickly. We did a good job. Relatively,
yeah. We went a little over timers. Give a shit in the comments. We deserve it.
I think we stayed true to it though. For the most part, we stayed true.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on into now our fall holiday season, rest of 2022, big game. Look forward, essentially. I don't have a nice, neat phrase or word to wrap it all around. But the rest of 2022, we're looking forward at it. Looking forward towards it. And we're gonna look at really the big games that interest us, or the ones that we think are like, we want to talk about, the ones that we want to play, or the ones that we think will just be terrible.
It's the 2022 Fall Spectacular, brought to you by Simply Safe. Simply Safe, this could be you. I just look how seamlessly I can do it in.
That was beautiful.
Help us help you keep the lights turned on here. Or video game, brought to you by whatever video game wants to send me codes, because I can't afford all these good games. Right. Well, I don't know they're good, but they look fun.
Yeah, like, send me a code out here for, let's say, Callisto Protocol. That's how I'll play it on day one. So you could get me in on day one for that game.
To be clear, I'll probably also buy these games physical, but I've always, as someone who loves collecting games physically, that conundrum of like, if I ever make it enough to get codes, what am I going to do here? And I think Gene Park even said, like, games that he gets code for, he goes out and buys eventually anyways, which is probably where I'd ultimately fall on it as well.
That's probably where I would too. Let's talk October though. We're in October, and I mean, we're in October through the month right now. Scorn just came out yesterday as of recording. Dragon Ball: The Breakers just came out yesterday as of recording.
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2 came out earlier in the month.
October 4th.
Beta. Yeah. Although even that's been a kind of a hot mess in terms of its release, and even it being called Overwatch 2 is a weird thing in and of itself. The month started strong though. Fall gaming is in full swing, or if it's not in full swing, it will be this coming week, the week this episode goes live, with the release of A Plague Tale Requiem, which I will be there on day one for. I may or may not review it. It really comes down to time on this one for me itself. I'm going to play it day one. We'll see if I have the time to review it. I'm very excited for this game, though. I played the first one last year on PS5. I was part of PS Plus, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by it. The story intrigued me. Yes, the gameplay was pretty simple, stealth gameplay. It wasn't too complex, wasn't too not I don't not to say not engaging, but like you didn't have to think too hard to get through things. It was pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but still a good game. The story was the main hook there. The world was the main hook. It was a good time. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the story goes in Requiem and what new gameplay things we have to work with there.
Whatever studio makes this game, feel free to reach out. You can use that quote on the back of your box. You don't have to think too much. I I was telling
like
you,
that just sounds so bad.
I don't think I've heard a person in real life recommend this game. Great reviews and everything, but or like decent reviews, I guess I would say. It's not like, oh, it's game of the year, but so I haven't played it. It's yeah, time wise, looking at October, looking at November, I'm just like, it's probably not happening because literally 3 days later, Gotham Knights comes out, and based off the conversation we had earlier, I would assume that that's kind of like that's the swap reach making. You're like, I'll pass on Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Which don't get me wrong, I have my hangups about, but Batman or a game I don't care about. It's Batman.
Right. Batman looks awesome. Batman
technically no Batman, but what
Yeah, Bat Family, which
yeah.
I mean, it's been talked about before, but like, what's the over under on Batman actually being dead, and like him not being in this game, like returning in some way, shape, or form?
I mean, whatever the over under was, I'll give you the same odds I had while playing Arkham Knight, and I was like, I swear to God, if they're making such an effort for all of this, spoilers for Arkham Knight, I guess, but for all of this to not be the original Robin, what I forget
not
now,
original,
I'm not
Jason Todd. He wasn't the original.
Yeah, if it's
one.
not, I was like, if they're doing Red Hood, but that's was literally like what I thought, and I'm pretty sure I said it out loud. I was like, I swear to God, they're going out of their way to be like, it's not Red Hood, and then to just do this all and it be basically Red Hood, I'm gonna be so mad. And then that was what they did, and I was just like, flips table. That plus Batmobile. I'm sorry, like people retroactively being like, actually, Arkham Knight's the best of the series. Get out of here. Like, I'm fine with Asylum or City being your favorite. Like, those are two both masterpieces. I don't like Knight. I can't forgive it for that, and I can't forgive it for forcing me to drive the Batmobile around Gotham.
I enjoyed Knight and I enjoyed the Batmobile, so you're gonna hate me a whole lot.
It's not that I hate it. I don't understand the love for it. I'm like, okay, great game. We love traversal. Like, I liked traversal. I thought there's nothing wrong with flying around Gotham. Batmobile, cool in theory. It's one of those things that, like, in practice, found out not cool.
I see. Where you feel about Mario and Rabbids though?
I haven't played it. I have it actually in my collection, but it's not mine. My girlfriend bought it because when she got a Switch, she went on like a real spree of just like buying all the good Switch games. So she has that. She played it a little bit. She's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. It seems like something that would probably like, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is better than I thought. And it's just really come down to like laziness, and like there's other funner stuff to play. No offense to Mario plus Rabbids. So like I've seen this and I've been like, should I bust it out? Should I? And that's just like, I'm probably not going to do it. This is one of those series, maybe like 2 years from now, I play and I go, oh, hey, does anyone want to talk about how this series is actually really good? But I just missed the boat on the conversation because I just didn't feel like it right now.
Yeah, like I'm not a tactics game person really. So I was never like gonna play the first one, and I was never gonna play this one either. But I'm happy it exists because the first game was like such a weird combo that you never would have thought would have worked, and it did. So I was surprised when people were like, yeah, actually Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is an amazing game. I was like, all right, I would love for them to make a sequel then, because if this game was really great, capitalize on that and build on that so we can see, another fresh idea, flourish and thrive. So I'm happy it exists. It looks like it's an improving on the first one in ways that fans wanted. And it looks like it might even be like one of the best games on the Switch. I've seen people say that it might be their GOTY based on just how it looks so far. So, hey, I'm all for it. I'm happy, people are
two different worlds, man. Those are words you'd never hear come out of my mouth. So I'm glad that there's people out there that's their game of the year. I'm not even laughing to besmirch it. It's just so funny because I'm like, I can't imagine a universe where I'm like, that's my game of the year.
Yeah, I feel you. It probably would be mine because again, I'm not a tactics person. So it's not gonna. It would never have even been in the running really for me. Ideally, a game that might be in the running for me when I get to it is New Tales from the Borderlands, because that first one, arguably the best Telltale game, arguably the best Borderlands game as well. Now, this is not being made by Telltale, but I'm still very excited for it.
I never played the first one, but I would dispute what you said based off Walking Dead season 1 existing just solely. And then also,
I love that one. I do love Walking Dead season 1. That is my favorite. Arguably, though, I've seen people go both ways.
Telltale Batman, also very good.
I've only done season 1 of that.
Yeah, I didn't play season 2. Season 1 is good. Season 1 is real good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I have season 2. I purchased it. I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. But I do want to.
I think I was bummed they didn't forget if they did have a physical edition. I don't know why I didn't buy it. Probably it was broke.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to new Tales from the Borderlands. That one looks cool. I keep forgetting it's coming out because it's coming out. It's a low key release that's like in between a bunch of other big releases. Yeah, I'm wondering how it's gonna like shake out in terms of like reception and reviews and all. And
I always feel like Borderlands target audience doesn't care about a lot of the other at large stuff, but this isn't a traditional Borderlands game, so I don't know how that's gonna ultimately end up. Like, I'm curious what the sales figures are.
Yeah,
because I don't think the first one did like super gangbusters. But see, that's the thing. I'm not Borderlands target audience either. It's like that super like low hanging fruit cringe humor, which that's fine. Like, I get some people that's what you're into, but for me, it was like,
You see, like Tales of the Borderlands shied away from that some, as far as I remember. Like, yeah,
I've heard that a little bit. Yeah,
there was still like Borderlands humor there, but it wasn't like a bunch of I guess you could say cringe humor jokes in there or anything like that. Like, it was more like actual funny jokes and things like that. So I'm looking forward to this.
I think it was free one month on PS Plus a while back. So I think I have it. I'm almost positive I do in my library. Maybe there'll be like 1 year where I'm just like, for whatever reason, I have nothing to do and I'm just gonna play all these games.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Good way to spend your time. Another one that is shaping out to be a good way to spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Man, man. I'm here day one on this. Modern Warfare 2019 was one of my favorite Call of Duties in recent years. I feel like it had one of the better campaigns that the series has had in recent years. So I've been all in on Modern Warfare 2. Played the beta. If you watched or read my impressions, they are here on YouTube, or if you want to read them over on our site, playtowingames.wordpress.com. I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic because it is more of the first one, in my opinion, for better and worse. And the great things about the first game are still here. It also has some of the bad things about the first game. So like spawning is still not the best at all. It also has like other problems as well. I'm not really the biggest fan of the perk system and all like that. But
what
here's the thing. The perk system didn't need to change for Modern Warfare 2, and they changed it for no reason. It seems like it's like a change that they did just to change things up, but it doesn't really serve much purpose.
So, I mean, I haven't played Modern Warfare. I haven't played Modern Warfare 2 since it came out, which I mean, I obviously logged a lot of time of. But I mean, it's been like a decade now, over a decade. The perk system feels very similar to that.
No, it's not.
Other than obviously we weren't getting the nuke back, man. But like,
no, yeah, I have no problem with that. Just the perks. I'm just like,
I'm thinking streaks. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That is what you're thinking of. The perk system would like now instead of you start with your 3 perks, you only start with 2, and then you get your bonus perk partway through, and then the ultimate perk another partway through. It's like,
yeah, I mean, that's definitely
things?
Some of the more granular stuff. My impressions were, it's 2009 again, and I'm 16 again. Let's fucking go. This game rules. Like, I'm in it. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
That's the thing. Like Modern Warfare 2019, I played every day. I played it so much, even though that game frustrated me at times, that like I burned out eventually, and I had to just put the game down. Like in August of 2020, I put the game down. I said I'll take it a break, and that was it. When I started playing the beta for Modern Warfare 2, it just brought me back to those days where I was like, I was playing and having a great time. Like, I get there are problems, but I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself without a care in the world.
I didn't play Modern Warfare 2019. I think it's because I think it's two things. First of all, I think that cover, it looks nothing like Modern Warfare 2007. If you were going to get me in, you had to make it, at least try and make it look the same. Modern Warfare 2 has done a good job. They're going with that green that was the like primary marketing color and this kind of like the color scheme and how everything felt and looked. It feels very similar. Like they're clearly it feels more like the obvious nostalgia play that I thought 2019 was going to be, and it didn't feel like 2019 ended up being. It just felt like it's just a new Call of Duty and we're calling it Modern Warfare. This one feels like remember what it felt like to have nothing else to do other than to sit here and play this with your friends. And my easy to get ass is just like absolutely 100%. I played this beta and I'm here now.
I wonder if you would have liked to call it the campaign for Modern Warfare 2019 because that was a great campaign. Like
I can find it cheap, if it goes like on sale for like 10 or 20 bucks, maybe I'll pick it up this fall.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that the campaign for Modern Warfare 2 is at least as good as that one.
I will probably play the campaign. Usually for all the Call of Duties I played, I would play the campaign. Be like, yep, sure, that sure was the campaign. Let's go play the multiplayer now.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. Since I'm getting it digitally, I'll be doing the campaign a week early, get that out the way, and then when multiplayer drops on the 28th, hop into that, try and have that review out as soon as possible. This game releases a week before God of War. Like I got to do what I can. You got to give me.
It's like 10 days, right?
Yeah, it's like a week and a half. So like when that review falls is when it falls. We'll see what happens.
Bayonetta, I was gonna say, speaking of God of War, but we got like 3 other games.
Yeah, we got a few others to get to before we get to know. Before we get to that, Bayonetta though, real quick, I want to talk about that. Bayonetta 3 also drops on the 28th of October. Are you a Bayonetta person?
So I'm not a Bayonetta person in the sense that like I've played it and I love it. Love the character design. Action games, I'm pretty like, I'm not like, oh, I'm in day one, but I enjoy them. I'm glad they exist. It's just one of those franchises that like I know I would probably really enjoy and really like. Like I remember playing the demo for Bayonetta, I think like a long time ago. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But like I didn't have money to buy it because I was like 15 or 16 years old. Yeah. And it's just one of those franchises that like 2 was exclusive to the Wii U, right?
Yes.
I never personally had a Wii U. And then it was like they dropped the collection on Switch and I just haven't gone out of my way to play it. So like I know I'd love it, but even this game, like man, bad timing. Like right between, I'm gonna like probably just mainline Gotham Knights into my veins before Call of Duty comes out. Main like that into my veins before Ragnarok comes out. Maybe if I've got like a day or 2 break, I can one of the next games we got Entropy Center here. I'll probably pop that in, but like just not enough time for Bayonetta. Plus the fact that it's like $60 in the sea of like all of these other $60 to $70 games. Yeah. But that's a perfect, like if we have that 3-week break between, end of year recording and game of the year, like maybe I can go out of my way to find Bayonetta 3 and play that,
Yeah, Bayonetta 3, like I like Bayonetta and character action games, I like them. They're fun, but I know the big appeal about character action games is replaying the game, replaying the levels over and over to like to do better combos, to get better score chains and everything like that. And I'm not really into that. And like the story for Bayonetta, you can get through it pretty quickly. Like the campaigns, if I'm correct, never really much longer than 10 hours at most. So they're pretty short games, which is again why the replayability factor comes in with making some awesome combos, doing it on harder difficulties, looking as stylish as you possibly can. I like the first 2 Bayonettas. The story is absolute just nonsense. You just turn your brain off and just watch it. You turn your brain off, things happen. You're like, this is crazy. This is entertaining. I'm doing cool stuff at the same time, which is why I'm not going to be there day one for 3. But at some point, I would like to play it because the first 2 games, they are really great games. They are awesome action games. Platinum, they do some great work over there. So looking forward to it. And do you want to say anything about Resident Evil Village's DLC? I have nothing to say about it because
we can just acknowledge it exists. Played a couple hours of Village. Not my thing.
Yeah,
they're like, almost. Hey, don't you want to play a Metroidvania in first person? And I said, no, I do not. Don't feel like running through this castle. Like I'm not even afraid of like jump scares. It's just more annoying. It's like, okay, so I gotta walk on needles, and now I don't know where the hell I'm going. Like there's a level of like puzzle solving that comes with Metroidvanias that just like I don't have the brain capacity for. I'm like, give me my puzzles in a different form other than walking around.
Yeah. I played the demo for Village and I was like, this is awesome. And I've played, I think, 4 or so hours of Resident Evil 7. Like I'm on the second boss of Resident Evil 7, and I kind of put the game on pause and never got back to it. They're fun. they're not really the types of games I would play, but I maybe at some point I'll play Village because I did enjoy that demo. It was a cool demo. It also like Lady D is just, how can I deny Lady D?
Seven's more up my alley, especially with like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre general vibes and homage.
Yeah.
But I played it in VR and that is terrifying. So I didn't play a ton of it.
That was your mistake right there. Doing it in
it
VR.
Was. It is genuinely
right
bone chilling. Like just the atmosphere, soaking in all that sound. It's just next level the second you enter VR. And it's like, I'm not even like, oh, I'm scared, but it's just like to be in it, to immerse yourself is just like, takes a crazy person to just like enjoy this for 12, 13 hours, however long that game is.
Except I want to play Resident Evil 4 like that. The older one, not the newer one. I want to play the older one like that. And I've never played Resident Evil 4 before. So I might be crazy.
I can see the argument for that one a little bit more.
Let's move to November. We got a couple big games here. It's a mix of big and small. Entropy Sensor is a small game, but it seems really interesting. Like a mix of Portal so cool. and all like that in this. Like
Portal and High on Life.
Yeah, talk to me about it because I know you're more into it than I am, but I'm still into
it. I just saw the trailer the other day and I was like 100%. This is up my alley. Love quirky indie games. And then like the puzzle solving aspect of like it's Portal, because there is like portals and whatnot, and you have like a special gun, and then it's also the High on Life because the gun talks to you, but it's not like trying to be the Rick and Morty comedy that High on Life is. It's going for more of that Portal. No, because Portal, it's almost like antagonistic jokes in the best way, but this seems almost kind of like Stray, like the AI from that. The little AI bot you have following you. So, which is like, looks adorable. Like graphically, it looks pretty decent for an indie game. You're just like, this is impressive. If this was, I assume it was made by a smaller team, and just a great trailer. I gotta say, like, if you watch it and you'll know basically based off like that description and just watching, you're like, is this a game that I'm in on? But like, I feel like if you're in on these type of games, you're just like, yep, no question, good trailer, I'm in.
Yeah, it seems cool. I like the vibes of it. It's one where I heard about. I was like, I'll keep my eye on you. Maybe it won't be a day one, but it might be one where if I have the money and I have the time, maybe end of December, beginning of January, when there's like a down period in the games and all, maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe that's what I'll.
If this does numbers, whatever developer, send me a code.
That over.
Yeah,
that over.
I'd love a physical version, but I don't think you're getting it. So send me that code.
Now we said before the podcast, the blue hedgehog with balls, Sonic Frontiers, committing to their November 8th release date, the day before God of War Ragnarok on November 9th.
Is it canon that Sonic has balls? I don't even know.
We're going to say he does because only a madman would stand before Kratos on God of War Ragnarok's day, the day before, and be like, no, I'm not moving. I think I'll stay here.
There's got to be something with like investors and like forcing those quarterly releases that we just don't understand. Because, man, the way some of these games just throw themselves into the fire, they're like, hey, why don't we insert ourselves into the, I don't know, weeks, months of just like the vast emptiness? No, instead, we're going to put ourselves in this like 1 month pocket of just absolute craziness. Like, why would you do it? Because I'll play Sonic Frontiers most likely, even though by the time I'll play it, there will probably have been some like, you know, good or bad, like I'm assuming bad rulings on it, and people will be like, oh, it's not worth your time. But I'll probably play it out of morbid curiosity. But like obviously I'm not shelving that for God of War. And unless God of War magically shows up with a code and I get to play it 2 weeks, I'm like, listen, it's always been my dream to just like, because, you know, you want to be a games journalist or anything resolving it or involving that with new media. So I'm always like, if I get a code, it's going to be that special moment. And then after that, it'll just be like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Sonic, it looks, when we first saw it, I was thinking, it looks rough. As we've seen more, I've gotten higher on it, but not high enough to be day one. Like, I'm not the biggest Sonic person. My Sonic heyday was back in like Adventure 2, Heroes, Advance. But so like, I'm not all in on Sonic. The Sonic cycle is a thing that I am well aware of.
Yeah.
So that will keep Sonic alive the day before God of War Ragnarok. It'll be fine right there. It's just insane it's coming the day before. I hope it's good. I like, honestly, this Sonic, part of why this song has been the most interesting is because it's doing something new for the series. You know, kind of like an open world type of style, open zone, they call it. approaches the game. So I'm intrigued by that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it actually works out in practice and execution. And I'm hoping it does well. I'm hoping it does well. I'm hoping it's a good game because I would like to play a Sonic game.
Yeah, morbid curiosity seems like I'm going in with the right attitude. And not being a Sonic diehard and not like needing this hope. If it's bad, it's bad. I'll move on. I'll live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't played a ton of Sonic, to be honest. Like as a kid, I literally asked my dad one day, like, hey, for my birthday or whatever, could I get like a Sega Genesis? And we're like months out from my birthday. And this is like after this, we're like at the PS2 era, basically. So the Sega Genesis, I think, was like $50 or whatever. And he's like, if you want an old system, let's just go get it. So we went to GameStop and got a Sega Genesis for like $30 or $50, whatever it
Nice.
was, and a bunch of games for like dirt cheap. So I got to play, like, I mainlined all the Sonics, and I was like, yeah, this game rule. I think it was just 1 and 2. Is 3 on the Genesis, or is that,
Asking
does
the
it
wrong
move to the
person, but
Saturn? Okay. But
I'm gonna
either
say
way,
yeah, but you're asking the wrong person
I
that
play
question.
like every Sonic game I could get that was on the Genesis, played it, had a great time, loved it, but then never gained this affinity to like go and try all the 3D ones. It seems like mostly that was a smart decision on my end.
Yeah. Smart decision on my end was to take off November 10th and 11th, so I could have a nice 4-day weekend with God of War Ragnarok.
What? Give it up, everybody. What a transition. What a transition there.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
so hyped for this game, man. I was
Let's
gonna
go,
take that
baby.
actual day off, but I was like, you know what? I'll just take the days after off.
What day is this? What day is
It
this?
comes out on Wednesday. So I'm taking that Thursday and Friday off. That way I'll get it the 9th, that Wednesday, right? Get it that night, install it, do whatever update it needs to do. Wake up Thursday morning, just play all day. Wake up Friday, play all day. Probably see Black Panther that Saturday. Play some more that night. Play some on Sunday. Play a bunch that weekend.
Yeah, that
That's
seems.
just Goaty right there. It's gonna be like a Goaty nominee.
Oh yeah. I mean, I assume it'll be my goatee. It's hard because not finishing Elden Ring, not like really having the time or patience, but I want to get back to it. It's like
Uh-huh.
I can. I mean, it was like it's so good. The level design, like just the design of it all, the world is so cool, but also like it's really a gameplay versus story thing. Like this is just it's 2017 all over again with Breath of the Wild versus its competitors. With
Right.
Elden Ring taking that Breath of the Wild stance here. But I could not be more excited for this. I was a late. I've talked about it a little bit on my channel, but like I was a late into the 2018 game because I just didn't understand the hype, and it all breaks down to that one level. And when I talked about that, a lot of people like and how my hatred. I've just learned now is a general hatred for flying enemy types. I felt so
Oh, in
relieved.
Alfheim?
Yes. And I felt so
Ah,
relieved when everyone came forward and was like, yeah, that part sucks. Like, I cannot stand it either. And I was like, thank God it wasn't just me. And then one of my friends, Misha, she was at one point a producer on P Game We Lost. Yeah, she talked about it as well. Like, that was a real sticking point for her. And she had to like force herself over the course of a few days to like just push through that level. And once she got there, it was like smooth sailing. It was like, this game rules.
mhm.
And so coming back to it, reappreciating or like playing through it, appreciating it. This game rules. Can't wait. It was definitely like a. Do we have anything to get excited about other than the sequel until this last trailer? Last trailer, masterful, perfect. Um, I got lucky enough to pre-order one of the dual senses, so
Nice.
got that bad boy on the way here.
I was
Whenever it
going
ships out.
to, but like I already have 3 controllers. I don't need a fourth. I don't need a
I
fourth. I'm
have
good.
Yeah, I have two. I technically have three. I ended up giving my girlfriend my red one because she got the
Ah,
red
okay.
plates and I have the purple plates. So I've
Nice,
got a purple
nice.
and a white. But yeah, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna keep pre-ordering these dual senses. The collector in me is just like I'm gonna end up with so many dual senses. It's nuts.
Yeah, Ragnarok, it's coming, man. I like, got nothing to say. Got nothing more to say. It's
There's
good.
like
It's
I
gonna be
don't
an
even know what
amazing
to
game.
speculate. I think it's interesting. This is a two-parter instead of a trilogy.
I'm
Um,
down with it. I'm cool with
Hats
it.
off to Sony Santa Monica. I'm sure it was tempting to just like, or even beyond tempting, Sony might have tried to strong on them potentially and be like, hey, we want you to have a trilogy for them to just be like, no, this is the for Corey and for the whole team there to just be like, our vision is a two-parter. I think it'll be interesting, like the way that story plays, because it certainly feels like 2018 was small enough in scope that you could easily see this needing now a second game to ramp up to what would have been, what was billed as like this epic finale, and instead it seems like we've seen relatively little of it outside this trailer. And so story wise, I think there's a lot left to be answered, which I'm excited for. I'd much rather have that than feel like I know exactly what's going to happen and I'm just waiting to see those results.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where things go with Atreus and any revelations he has in regards to his story. Of course, what's going to happen with Kratos. The question: is he going to live? Is he going to die? How is his story going to be wrapped up at the end of this game? How's that going to shake out? What's going to happen with the gods in terms of Thor and Odin and everything? There's so many mysteries and all like that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother speculating. I will wait till it comes and just experience it all.
Tune into the spoiler pod for that.
Oh, for sure. We definitely got to do a spoiler episode for that game because that's
absolutely 100%.
Has to happen. Let's move from God of War though. There's a few more smaller releases in November. Pentiment from Obsidian seems like a cool little game. I'm looking forward to that.
I don't even think I've seen this. I saw it on here whenever you put it. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's like their narrative game. It kind of has like an art style similar to like you remember the beginning of the Shrek movies when they have the storybook and like the art style
yes,
of the art?
I know exactly what you're
that's
talking
what the
about.
art style of Pentiment is like, and it's a narrative
that's
game
cool.
like that. Seems cool. Goat Simulator 3. I'm not gonna play it, but
I was like, did you put it on here purely for the memes?
I did, because that game is just hilarious. I just put it on here because of that. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I am interested in and intrigued by, and I would like to play them. But
I'll play them.
Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, like I have fell off Pokemon hard after Diamond, and Shield was supposed to get me back in, and it did not work. Not for any reason of the game's fault, more like I just fell off.
Shield feels like a pretty controversial. Like a lot of people are like, it sucks. Other people are like, it's fine.
Yeah, like it was fine for me. I just fell off of it.
That was my first one in a while too. I didn't finish it, and then I got kind of broke there for a bit, and I sold it before I started like massively collecting games. But I did play Arceus this year. I actually really enjoyed Arceus.
I wanted to play that one, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
So I'm interested if this will like raise the level of hype that I'm having overall for Pokemon, or if it'll be like, it's dead now. It's Arceus rose it up a little bit, and then Scarlet Violet killed it. And my girlfriend's also super into Pokemon, and we just like mainlined Arceus together for like a week or two there. So this will probably be the case. I think I'm going Violet just because I love purple. Purple's my good game. We lost purple, everything general vibes of purple. So I think she was like, yeah, I'll take Scarlet.
I would do Scarlet if I get it, but I hate, because red's my favorite color, but I hate the fact that Koraidon, which I believe is the Scarlet legendary Pokemon, Koraidon in its bike form uses its freaking feet, whereas Miraidon uses its actual wheels. Why do you have wheels if you're not going to use them? You look like an idiot.
I don't know what's funnier, the fact that like it does have feet, or the fact that it's such a hang up for you.
It is. I'm like, the wheels are there. Why are you not using them? The other one has wheels and feet, but it's using the wheels like a smart person.
It's Nintendo, man. It's part of the charm.
No. I refuse to believe that.
They took away Mario's ass for their biggest movie in forever. What do you think they were gonna do?
Charm my ass. I don't care. Oh no. Pokemon Company, do better. Do better. And then there's Evil West rounding out November. I'm into this one.
I'm hyped for this. Yeah. I mean, aesthetically seems cool, but just the gameplay looks, I don't know, like it's one of these weird games where I don't even look it up or anything like constantly, but I keep, whether it's through like YouTube on an ad or like Facebook feed, or Twitter feed even, I'll get like random PlayStation sponsored ads that are like showing off the gameplay. And every time I see it, or even like those whatever annoying game pages that like just spam other people's content, I'll be like scrolling past, and it's like I don't even want to give them the look, but I'm like, gameplay looks so good. I just end up watching like the same 2-minute loop, and I'm like, I don't know, story wise, I could see it being Garbo. It could even be a Bayonetta situation where it's just like super silky action combat with just like whatever garbage, setting it is. But like it looks sweet to me, so I'll probably be in there. It's with Pokemon, it's kind of tough timing, but we have like I was gonna say we have nothing in December, but then now looking at it, it's like December's kind of stacked. I definitely want to try and fit time for it though, because it looks like something I'd really enjoy. Because just as I've gotten older, more and more, I'm just drawn to like gameplay heavy stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's speak about December actually, and I feel like we can wrap these 4 pretty quickly. We got Callisto Protocol to start.
Yeah, two and ones, and then two bangers.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol and Need for Speed Unbound, both on the same day, December 2nd. And then Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and High on Life, both on the same day as well. I am excited. I am definitely going to play Need for Speed and Crisis Core, both the day Crisis Core day one, Need for Speed maybe day one. Callisto Protocol, I am interested in, but I probably will not play because I'm not really into games like that. High on Life, I am so like on that game, but I may play it just to review it. But I'm like on it.
I'll review it. It's fine if you want. Like I can give you all the details, let you know, because I'm genuinely excited for it. I thought the initial trailer was awesome. We all saw that demo and it seemed like real cringe. But then I believe it's Janet Garcia. I saw of Kind of Funny and Min Max talking about it, and she's great. And she was talking about how it's like, as someone that doesn't even necessarily like Rick and Morty or that type of humor in general, that playing it and getting more context, it was definitely less like they kind of cut very specific slices and it wasn't that bad. Even that specific fight was not that obnoxious and bad. So that reinvigorated some of that excitement, because I was worried seeing that one slide, which is funny because it seemed to like kill a lot of people's enthusiasm that they may have had for it. I think the first trailer kind of really sold like the overall game a lot better. So yes. I'm pumped for it still, knowing that like, okay, it seems like maybe it won't be as bad as that slice showed it could be. And I just thought it was funny because you said, like, I was literally going to say we can just skip Need for Speed, and then you were like, I'll probably play it. And I was like, okay, so we're gonna. Well, our priorities are definitely opposite here. My priorities are Callisto Protocol and High on Life. I'll probably play Reunion, Crisis Core. It's just will take, especially because it's a remake, it'll take a back seat to the other ones. And like if there's any like empty periods in 2023, which I'm sure there will be in the beginning, but it does seem like that ramps up pretty quickly. But
February and March, that pocket, insane for 2023.
It's going to be like 2022 though. I don't think everything can release. Like I think a lot will be pushed back, but
yeah, don't worry, we're going to do a separate 2023 episode. That's going to be
for sure,
wild. But no, Need for Speed,
Tears of the Kingdom.
Wait, so you said Tears of the Kingdom, and for a second later you said Kingdom Hearts. So I was like, oh yeah, that was what you said. I was like, I'm not as excited for Tears of the Kingdom, but I am excited for it. How to like temper the expectations mentally in the head. Like, wait, hold on.
I'd be the opposite. Raise the levers. So I get it.
But no, Need for Speed. I like Need for Speed. Need for Speed on 2015, the one with like the live action people in it. People were like on it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Heat a bit less so, but Unbound, like I wasn't excited for it. And it could be that we're like in this 6-week period before its actual release, which is insane from announcement to release. But visually and stylistically, I am so into it. Like I like that they're doing this.
I haven't even watched the trailer.
Excited. They're doing like this really excited extra stylistic stuff, right? Where you'd use your nitrous, like a bunch of like sketches and like graffiti appears on the side on the screen and everything. Like when you do like the smoke that comes from your tires, it's like real stylistic and all like that. Like it looks really cool. The characters are like animated, cell shaded, but the real world is not. It's a little weird. It is a bit weird. I feel I'm a bit put off by that, but the actual game, I'm into like the style and everything. I want to see actual, just like a raw gameplay, like a race though, because everything we've seen so far has been like quick cuts and everything. So I just want to see raw gameplay to get a feel for how it all actually plays out. But that seems cool. I'm into that. And Crisis Core, I love Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7 is awesome. I never played Crisis Core back in the day because I didn't have a PSP. This is my time to play it. So this is that game's time to shine.
It seems like you just miss out on all the fun, weird Sony side adventures.
What do you mean?
Like no PSVR, no well, I don't know if you got a Vita. No PSP.
I didn't have it. See, I wanted a PSP, but I didn't get one because my mom and my stepdad were like, no, we're gonna get you a DS instead. I was like, okay, that's fine.
The Sony failures to me are kind of fun. I kind of like them. Like I have a lot of nostalgia for the PSP, and I feel like despite it having its limitations, I will also have nostalgia for PSVR, if for nothing else, then it gave us Astrobot.
Yeah, like PS Vita, I didn't get that, but that I wanted it solely for Gravity Rush. I didn't get it because the pricing was ridiculous.
The Vita is the one I missed out on just because pricing and that point in my life. But I do want to get one for the collection. It's like I collect consoles, so does my girlfriend. So we got like that's all we're missing PlayStation console wise is we don't have a Vita. That's it.
Yeah, like the memory card pricing for the Vita was ridiculous. So I
Was
was like, no,
insane.
I'm not gonna
Those
do that.
proprietary cards were nuts.
Yeah, and then the PSVR, it was money and space. Like I don't have space here to do PSVR with all the wires and stuff and the money. I was just like, yeah, no. So that is the reason. There's a legitimate reason why I've never gotten each one, although I have wanted each one. So
PS3, my favorite PlayStation console. That was considered the black sheep, the failure of the family.
PS4 is my favorite, but I think that's more so because that's one where I was able to like get basically all the games I wanted for. I was able to like, really kind of come into my own on PS4. PS3, I really do love though. I have a whole lot of fond nostalgic memories of high school era playing my PS3 and everything.
Yeah.
2009 to 2013. No, 2009, 2014, because I got my PS4 2014. Like, great time right there.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the rest of the year in terms of big game releases. A lot of stuff coming in these next coming weeks. A lot of big stuff too. It's like there's just no time between them all, man. No time.
I think it's like one of those things where people just say, "Oh, there's not that much coming out," and it's like, I get it in a vacuum. Like we're not getting some of the bangers promised. I'm not even the biggest Starfield guy, but like if you were looking forward to that, it's a bummer that it got pushed. Breath of the Wild sequel now, which we now know is Tears of the Kingdom, not coming out, but like it's coming. Meanwhile, like we don't need this lineup plus that stuff is kind of my endpoint. Like this is a lot of stuff. Objectively, even if you're like, I'm not going to play all that. Listen, man, if you can't find 1 to 2 games out of that list that like you can't even get any excitement for, you might not like video games. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just games were better back in the day. Like, I don't know. Look at that lineup. There's good stuff. You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah. Kieran and I kind of said the same thing earlier in the year. Like, it's a great lineup of games here. Next year is going to be great too.
Next year,
separate episode.
If everything even just releases, not even within their windows, but if everything just releases next year, like next year is going to be one for the books.
For sure. All right, let's do our brief mentions this week. We got quite a bit because again, some of these are from last week as well, but we're going to get through them.
Okay. So we're still doing them. All right.
Yeah, for sure. We always do brief mentions each week. We don't have to spend too much time on
no, you're good.
Brief things. No First up, The Medium, that game that was an Xbox exclusive, now on PlayStation. It's getting a TV show adaptation. Yep, from Bloober Team. It's getting a TV show adaptation. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? We will see. According to Bloomberg sources, Sony is planning to make 2 million PSVR 2 units between September of this year and March 2023, likely for the launch of the headset. I wonder if they'll be able to sell all of those. I'm wondering how much the PSVR 2 is going to cost and how much it'll sell, like, when it first comes out and throughout 2023. That's going to be really interesting to see and keep an eye on. I'm hoping
they'll probably sell it at a loss. It'll probably still be deemed too expensive by a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm thinking 500, 550.
I'll throw my hat in and say 400. I
would love that, but
I don't think there's a chance in hell they can. I think they know there's not a chance in hell 500 will sell. Like the Quest at 300, I just think 450 maybe. I like if they are sending it. I will say this definitively. Sony.
Well, no, is it the Quest got bumped up? I think the Quest
is 350 now though instead, right?
I thought the Quest was 400, 500 now.
I'll look it up real quick. If it's 500, Sony, you are sending it out to die. I'll just say that right now.
They cannot charge more than 500 for that thing, and they know that for a fact. I think 400 is a sweet spot.
You're right. It did get bumped all the way up to 400, but that's still your competition, man. So 450, I think I'd be willing to say, knowing that, forget it. I forgot that aspect. I would go maybe 450 now, but like, and maybe I can see them doing like a tier or whatever, the way they have with things like that of that nature, and going 450 or 5. 5's a death sentence. I think $100 more than Oculus on top of needing a PS5. I just like, it's especially if they're planning on making that many units. I think they might plan on coming through big dick swinging because if you just show up 400, boom, like that is a selling point. It is. Everybody that already has a PS5, but maybe doesn't have a Quest, is now no longer being like, which one do I get? Because the Quest does have wireless. And probably more games at launch, especially since they've announced that this is not going to be backwards compatible.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see for sure. PS5, though, that's been jailbroken. So if you're interested in jailbreaking your PS5, have at it.
Sure, why not?
Crash Bandicoot, we're getting an announcement tease for that. Something's going to happen Crash related at the Game Awards. Who knows what? Maybe a new game, maybe a movie or a TV show.
New
Anything's
G Fuel
possible.
flavor.
Oh my gosh, G Fuel. I mean, isn't G Fuel already orange? So it'll just be the Crash Bandicoot
No,
branded version of it.
there's a Crash Bandicoot G Fuel already. That's why I said a new one.
Oh, don't follow G Fuel, so I had no idea that that was a thing.
I don't drink them, but like I like reviewing energy drinks and dumb drinks. So like every time I see like G Fuels in the wild, I'm always like, oh, new one.
I did not know that they had a Crash Bandicoot one. That is funny.
They
Very,
have
very
way.
funny.
If you go to their site, they have so many more than you'd think.
Wow. Elle Fanning. She has been confirmed to be a part of Hideo Kojima's next game, whether that's Death Stranding 2 or whatever the other one that was rumored kind of for some time ago, whatever it is. She's going to be a part of it. When we see this game again or, actually learn about it, anyone's guess. Probably Game Awards because he's besties with Jeff Keighley. Essential members of the Disco Elysium team have been forced out of the company, unfortunately, which has kind of left the possibility of a sequel uncertain. Wish the best for those people, of course. Now, Brazil's regulatory board has approved Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Did I say Activision's Microsoft's Activision of Activision
Microsoft's
Blizzard?
acquired. Yeah,
The words all sound very similar, so I wasn't even sure what I said.
I'm getting it all mixed up now too. I'm getting tongue tied as well. So yeah.
But it still needs to be approved by the UK and the US. Here's the thing though, the CMA, which is the UK's regulatory board, they're giving Microsoft a hard time. Microsoft's not happy about that. They're like really fighting back against the CMA, and it's looking rough. What do you think about that acquisition? Because I don't think we've had you on since that was announced.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like saying it's bad for video games comes across as real hater talk. But I would say like for like a more insightful version of kind of like my general thoughts, Adam Conover of Adam Ruins Everything did like a quick TikTok about it. Just kind of like generally being like, hey, this is clearly Microsoft's route to monopolize the streaming aspect of the video game landscape, which is where it seems like it's headed towards, and essentially pulling an Amazon, taking losses on things in the short term for long term essential like landscape domination. I mean, my general feel for Microsoft's like act is that it's pro consumer in the short term. To like these companies are not pro consumer as a whole. Like if you think Microsoft, $8 billion trillion dollar conglomerate, is like, hey, they're my friend and they want to give me video games at a deal forever. Like that's not how it works. It is obviously, of course, pro consumer now, and there's a monetary benefit to Xbox Game Pass and like all this value. But giving any company that kind of like major just market share is bad. And I would say that even if it was Sony, like I think timed exclusives are in general kind of a unique thing to video games and kind of cool. And I'd much rather just have those in these one-offs than people buying, than people buying whole companies. And it seems like Microsoft just got so pissed off about Sony getting these small little chips away that they were just like, fuck it, we're buying the whole board. Like you want to cheat a monopoly, we're gonna buy the whole game. It's my game now. You can't play.
Right.
And so it's from that angle to me, it's like it's bad. But in the short term, like, yeah, Xbox Game Pass will be sweet. Like, you'll get a lot of bang for your buck. When does that start turning, though, is more, I guess, where I'm interested at it from like a long-term perspective. But short term is, hey, man, we're going to get some, like Xbox will have some dope games and like a dope platform.
Yeah, we've talked about it a whole lot in the show. I'm not for it, but realistically, like it's probably going to happen. There are pros and cons to it. It's a matter of waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting to see how this all shakes out at the end of the day.
For sure.
Turns out though, apparently Activision Blizzard withheld raises from Raven Software QA employees for unionization. I believe this report came from Washington Post. I have not had a chance to really read into it, so sorry, I don't have more details to share about it right now. But Activision Blizzard, do better. Please just do better, you guys.
Yeah, my general like, don't make me tap the sign is like, don't trust companies. Whether people are like, oh, it's speculation or not, don't trust companies. I'm inherently always on the worker side here.
As we should be. then so remember last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at this point, time's crazy. Google shut down Stadia. They said, hey, it's getting closed down, and developers and publishers were like, whoa, took us by surprise. Even Google people were like, whoa, took us by surprise. IGN's Rebecca Valentine, she put out a report on the behind the scenes over at Google that like talked about the lead up to the closure of Stadia and like the fallout. So like what was going on over there, like how employees were reacting, how they learned the news, so on and so forth. Interesting read. Go give it a read if you have not already. TwitchCon, supposed to be a fun time, was not a fun time for people who were playing in a pit and ended up, suffering many injuries, broken backs, ankles, dislocated knees, I believe. Not a fun time. I imagine many lawsuits will be pressed against TwitchCon and all involved in that.
You would imagine, yeah.
Phil Spencer, his shelf was back in the news this week because he took a picture of it celebrating Fallout's anniversary, and then on there was a prototype of Xbox's cloud plug-in device. And made the news. People were like, is this the actual thing? And then turned out, no, it's just a prototype. It's not the actual thing. The actual thing's still in the works. But still interesting nonetheless. Like, oh, yeah, little peek on the shelf. Everyone's always looking on his shelf for stuff.
I mean, I think we're all more just like generally when it comes to that, just like, I don't think the look of it matters. It's just going to be some kind of dongle, and I think it's just going to be like, how well does this work? I think that's the real question. Yeah. Because like the Wi-Fi capability on some of those kinds of things sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're not getting good speed, you can't download anything. So it's like, and then they've already kind of rolled out aspects of that with Samsung 2022 model TVs, smart TVs, right, having that capability just built in.
Yeah. We'll see how it works out. Spider-Man Miles Morales comes to PC on November 18th. Cool. Also, another sexual harassment lawsuit was filed against Activision Blizzard. Forgot to put this up with the other Activision Blizzard stuff. Again,
don't make me tap the sign. Yep.
Exactly. Activision Blizzard, do better. Square Enix Montreal has been rebranded as Onoma. They've been acquired by Embracer Group. So they now have a new name. Of course, they will no longer be called Square Enix Montreal. They're not under Square Enix. And last brief mention here, I threw this in as a fun thing because you know what? I think it deserves to be noted and praised. Kind of funny. Yesterday, as of recording, October 14th, they revealed their brand new studio, the Spare Bedroom, revealed it to everyone in the industry. Their 24-hour stream should be done as of now. It looks awesome. It looks super cool. It looks super neat. Like, it's awesome. I'm really happy for them. Kind of made me feel multiple different things watching that yesterday. But I'm super happy for them.
I need to up my game.
Yeah, I was just like, man, that's an awesome looking place. So congratulations to them. Good for them on the studio there.
I mean, like I'm in and out with their content, but
yeah. Like I was like, I'll tune in for this, and did not disappoint in the slightest bit.
Yeah.
Awesome place. Those are all our brief mentions of this week. So with all the news and stuff out the way, let's talk about what we've been playing. And it's going to be a bit different. I have 3 things. Tyler has 3 things. I'm going to give Tyler like the floor because, he hasn't been on the show in a very long time. So I want to give him the floor to talk about some of the games that he's been playing, whether it be recently or this year. If we have time for me, I'll talk about mine some. If not, I'll just like fire like, hey, this. But I want to give you the floor first, Tyler. So what have you been playing? What's been going on with you?
So I haven't played a ton like these past few weeks other than I did boot up some Overwatch 2. It's more Overwatch, man. Like I definitely can echo the sentiments of like, this doesn't necessarily feel like it needed to be a 2. I understand it from a marketing perspective. I hate the currency split ups that they've done. It's like more, it feels even more like mobile games scattered than even like the V-Bucks. Cause like for all of the things people want to say about Fortnite, there's only one currency. It's V-Bucks.
Yeah.
And then of course, like you unlock stuff within that, but like you just buy the one thing and it's like Overwatch just has gone that extra level of like, seems like they're confusing it. And then instead of just doing the good guy thing of like taking your currency you had saved up from Overwatch 1 and just like letting that be a catch-all that you can buy anything with, it's now like you can only buy these specific things. So the like microtransaction nature of it kind of sucks. 5v5, it's fine. Like, I mean, there are games where it feels different, and there are games where it just feels like, well, I had a teammate that was so awful anyway. So like it was basically 5v6 before. So now it's better. The art style is worse in my opinion, but that's just me. Some people like it more.
Interesting.
But hey, man, Diva's still good. I still have fun playing as Diva. Girl. Yeah, see, yep. I got the Diva chair rocking it. I've been a Diva main since basically day one. And she's still fun to play as, although I heard there's a nerf coming. So
I don't know. Yeah, not my girl Diva, please.
This happened in the base game though, so I'm hoping they'll balance it out. Like Diva was overpowered at launch for the original, and then she got nerfed, but I still found like I was actually really good with her, and I was like, maybe I'm just really good at Diva, and that was pretty much the case throughout. So like, as long as that keeps happening and it's a fun game to just like a fun podcast game where I put it on and I'll be happy. But ultimately, like,
turn your brain off and play it and all like that.
It's definitely killed the magic and the nostalgia I had for the first game, and it's more just like very transactional now. Like, yep, I guess I'll fire up some Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet because again, I didn't want to have to. It was having all these issues at launch, long queue times, the text chat was making purchases for people and everything. I was like, iron your issues out. I'll jump into you at some point in the future because like I like Overwatch. I'm not the biggest Overwatch fan. I'm like a hardcore person, but like Overwatch was a game I would play where it was like, if I don't want to play anything else, and I want to play something, but I don't want to play anything that's going to require too much from my brain. It's kind of want to turn my brain off and just chill out. Pop on Overwatch, play as a Resort or Diva and just, have a good time for the night. Win, lose, draw, I don't care. So like that's why I'm not rushing to play Overwatch 2, but I'll try, especially in the coming weeks with everything that's coming up. Who knows where I'll find time for it?
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll be there in the doldrums. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I might not get to it till December, but I am looking forward to playing it. Definitely want to play as Kiriko, the new support. Give her a try, see what she's like, because she seems like a cool character and all.
Yeah, I played Sojourn. She was cool. I haven't played Kiriko yet. I'm like all right at support, but I'm not great. Like I'm a decent Zen, and that's about it.
I like Lucio. He's my support guy that I play as.
I respect people that play Lucio so much because like the skill set just does not go well with what I'm good at all.
Gotcha. All right, so that's all you have to say about Overwatch 2?
Yeah, pretty much that's it. It's not a ton. I've put like maybe an hour or two into it. Nothing crazy, but it's fine. I enjoyed it. Like I said, and then I probably spent another hour just reading through the menus and being like, what are they doing with this?
What is happening here?
But like on a broader picture for this year, like I've tried to keep up with most of the releases. I feel like the only big one that I'm like, I didn't have any, like I didn't play it at all. It was like the Corey is the only one that I'm like, I need to go back and play that, especially for October.
I want to play that so bad. I loved Until Dawn. So I'm
me too. Corey. And then like it happened it released like right after we had moved. And so it was just like one of those things where I was like, I don't have the $70 to spend right this second. And then it was like one of those things as it passed, I felt like the moment passed. And so I'm just been like, and then I was like, maybe I'll do it for October, but now there's all these other games coming out on October. Don't want to miss that. So now it just feels like it's going to become a backlog game. But like, other than that, I mean, started off the year hot playing Pokemon, really enjoyed that, explained earlier. Touched Sifu. It was very hard. So I was like,
yes, it was.
Thank you. Haven't come back since the mode, but people have been like, yeah, it's a lot. It's like reasonably hard now, and it's like fun and challenging without being like break your controller.
How far did you get in it?
Listen, man, I got past the first world and I saw what was coming, and I was like, I only played for maybe an hour or two, and I was like, we're not doing this. Like I got somewhat into the second world or second whatever section, and I was like, nope, I'm not. I'm gonna get very mad, and sometimes you just got to take the L. You got to be like, this game wins.
Yeah, I got to the third section and I was just like, nah, I gotta stop. Like the game is fun. It's a fun game. It is. I can acknowledge that it's a really fun game, very well designed. But boy, does it demand a lot. Like precision wise and memory wise, it demands a lot. And I was like, I don't got it in me. I'm sorry, not right now.
It's simple but tough game design versus contrast that with something like Elden Ring where like, yeah, there is a difficulty aspect to it. But if you have the patience and the time, like the game allows you, and this is like one of the things I respect about video, like what I love about certain games, like Breath of the Wild. I know you've been playing recently. It does this as well. It's like, hey, these are our systems. However, you find workarounds, like the goal is not to create barriers for our players. Like we create these systems, and they, while they have rules, if you can find loopholes within those rules, if you can find ways to spam things, like we don't care. The goal is to enjoy these systems and to make them fun. And I think when that combined with, well, like those systems are well done, the gameplay is really refined and just a blast to play. That's what makes get good, if not amazing, great classic games that are kind of going to transcend time. Because like as I've gotten older, I believe that really gameplay is the thing that transcends everything. Versus like I still like narrative games. I think they can be good, but the reality is like I just mentioned Telltale Walking Dead, but like it's not a game that gets mentioned all that much. And it's like narrative things. I just does feel like there's a limit on them as far as games go. And the things that like eventually kids end up playing and everybody comes back to are just, like, I think Breath of the Wild, like my argument about Breath of the Wild over Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. And I think history will prove me right. Like regardless of it, if you dislike Breath of the Wild, like I think people will be playing that 40 years from now. And I think whatever Red Dead successor is, whatever that is, like I just don't think people will be drawn to it, the older one, the same way, because it is all about that story. And it's like, okay, well, does a different story eventually surpass it or whatever? And gaming is so much about just like tapping into that part of your brain. It's just like, I just want to do the thing that is a lot of fun to do. And then not like, hey, like maybe it speaks to us all having ADHD, but like I don't want to sit there and just watch a 40-hour story. So like that's why, even if like I've been, this year is just proof of that, loving Elden Ring, being iffy on Horizon, I'm going to say Zero Dawn Forbidden West, but like loving something like Cult of the Lamb, where it is about those gameplay mechanics mixed with the aesthetic and it just being like a blast to play versus like some of the story heavy stuff. So that's just kind of like the general theme of my year. But I will mention, because I mentioned it pre-show, I don't get the hype with Kirby. I feel like if this gets any traction, people will be like, Kirby's great, blah blah blah. And I'm not saying it's bad, but like if you're saying it's better than Super Mario Odyssey, let's chill. Like it's not. Super Mario Odyssey's worlds are like, to me, more expansive. There's just like more meat to them. And even if those are collectibles, I do think that game rewards you for exploration in a way I didn't feel that Kirby does. And not that Kirby's bad, not that it's a requirement to have the worlds that expansive, but if you're going to get those comparisons, like you got to live up to it. And I also just don't think gameplay wise, like Kirby just kind of sucks. I was telling you, like, I think his moveset is just not fun to play as. Like
you have a vendetta against the Pink Puff, and the Pink Puff is going to come back.
Kirby's a great character.
You up
character design wise, he's cool. I'm not dogging on any of the previous games. I haven't played a ton of Kirby, but like I think inherently I don't like the floaty move set as opposed to like it's been talked to death about how Mario's move set just feels so smooth, so finite, so like
precise and everything.
Exactly precise. And that's what Nintendo's known for. And it's not like Kirby's movements aren't precise within themselves, but he is designed to not be as precise. It is designed to be a little bit floatier. And it's just like the gimmicks in that game didn't work for me the way they clearly worked for someone else. It's just not my favorite game this year. Sorry, I'm having keeps on bothering me. But yeah, so
all good.
Kirby, fine game, like an 8 out of 10. But Mario Odyssey, like a 9.5.
No, yeah, I enjoyed Kirby a whole lot when I played it earlier this year. Like I probably would have given it an 8.5 as well. I don't know if I would have gone to a 9. But I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the level design. It was my first Kirby game as well. But I enjoyed the level design. I enjoyed the different the creativity in the levels as well, and the different ways the different things you had to do in each level in regards to your copy abilities or the mouthful abilities that you had to. Like it was also
there were very clever parts that I had a lot of fun at, to be clear. It's just it's that like whole context and like how people are framing it versus how you're enjoying it.
Yeah, like I think at least for me personally, I enjoyed playing it more than I have enjoyed playing Super Mario Odyssey. But that's more so from a gameplay perspective. And also like I feel like the structure, they're two very different games structurally. Like structure, like Mario Odyssey, it's you have you get to a kingdom, right? You have your kingdom. It's like an open kingdom. Explore the kingdom kind of like the way you kind of want to. There are some levels in the kingdom world, but it's a bit more open, I guess you could say, as opposed to Kirby, where it's like this is your level. It's structured. I guess you could say like a Kirby game, but if you're going to compare it to Mario, it's structured more like older Mario games, like the 2D level-based
Yep.
Mario games, or even like Super Mario Galaxy, where it's like you go to this level, you do this, that, and the third,
Yep.
and all like that. Um, but I enjoyed the gameplay of Kirby more than I enjoy the gameplay of Super Mario Odyssey. But that's not a knock against Odyssey. Like Odyssey is still a really great game and all like that. It's still a fun game. I just had more fun with Kirby than I did with Odyssey.
I think you're wrong.
And that's totally fine.
I
That is
know
the
it was.
beauty. That is the beauty of opinions and
Yeah.
democracy. You can have
I
your opinion.
Nothing wrong with Kirby. It is one of those things where it's like you have the I listen to a podcast where I forget what they say, but it's just like settle down. Like, come on. Like, Horny Patrol, bonk.
Dial it
Like,
back some.
yeah, come on, guys.
Oh.
It's I just recently watched Super Bad. So like the first thing that came to mind, he's like, it's soccer, Greg. Chill. Or he's like, calm down, Greg. It's soccer. And I'm like, calm down. It's Kirby.
I haven't watched that movie in so long. I want to watch it.
It's good. It holds up. It's so good.
Some of the clips I've seen from it recently remind me, like, yeah, this movie's good. It's still great to this day.
Just imminently quotable.
Still a classic. All right, you got anything else you want to talk about, or?
I think that's good. Yeah, it's general. Play Cult of the Lamb if you haven't. It's awesome. Love that game. Can't recommend it enough. But yeah, I like Elden Ring. General thoughts on Horizon Forbidden West. It's fine. I think it was kind of a letdown comparatively. Because I enjoyed one and it was like the promise of the second one will be better, and it felt like it's marginally better. It's definitely not like a way better. But I mean, you could argue there's some like diminishing returns on some of these big AAA Sony games, but like, I don't know, God of War Ragnarok, I don't think we'll have that problem. So
yeah, I enjoyed Horizon. I had some issues with it, but I enjoyed it overall. I was gonna review it, but then hit a point where just like life stuff was just like, nah, I can't do this right now. I can't. But I would have given it. I was torn between an 8.5 and a 9. I was leaning more to an 8.5 on that game.
It's like an 8 to an 8.5 for me, probably.
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like that's right for that game. But I enjoyed it. It's gonna be on my GOTY list, for sure, based off what I've played this year so far. But yeah, if you don't have anything else to say, I'll talk about what I've been playing this past week.
Go for it.
So I'll go through mine fairly quickly. Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I've been playing it, recently and everything like that. I know
the goat.
I know you're very happy that I'm playing it. You're very happy that I'm playing it and enjoying it at that.
I don't know if I'm happy because now you're just gonna. Because before I had the argument, we haven't played it, and now you're just gonna be like, oh well, I have played it. Like,
I can,
but I've also played Red Dead Redemption 2 now, so right. I've got my bullets in my chamber for the argument against it.
But no, yeah, I've been enjoying Breath of the Wild still. The last thing I did in it was the Garuda town. So I did that beast, the divine beast for there. So in case you don't know, Tyler, I have done the Zora and I have done the Gerudo now. So now I need to go up to do the Ruta and the Gorons. I'm not sure who I'm going to go to next. I think I'll do the Ruta next. But I hate that boss. The divine beast for the Gerudo, the Thunderblight Ganon.
Yeah.
I hated that fight with a passion. Like it's not even that it's like stupidly difficult. It's just annoying because you have to be able to pull off the perfect dodges precisely each time to get the attack.
I'm trying to remember. Is that the one? I think that was the one I struggled with. There's only
it does like the super fast dodges and everything. So you have to do
that
perfect dodge.
Yeah, that one's a pain in the ass for sure.
Yeah, and then like once it has its weapon electrified, you have to really get the perfect dodge. It was annoying. It took me a couple tries, but eventually I got it. I was just like, and I went on Reddit. I was like, I can't be the only one who hates this boss. And I was happy to find I was not. I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. This boss just sucks. But yeah.
Still a perfect game.
I don't agree, but I am enjoying it. Like for me, where I am with it right now is the story, whatever, fine. The gameplay, I still don't like the weapon degradation, but I don't dislike it as much as I used to before. The world, I am enjoying exploring the world, but as I've said to Karen before, I for me, Skyrim is peak open world in terms of when I could play Skyrim anytime I want. Stick with me here. I could play Skyrim anytime I want. When I get into that game, I've put the 90 hours of that game, never beat it. I don't know if I'm even like halfway to the story, but I get I'm immersed in that game and I am lost. I get it. I open it and I'm like, where am I gonna go? And I just put apart. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to this place on the map, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk there. Even if I've walked there before, I'm gonna walk there again, just because who knows what I will see. I might
So
come across someone new, and I
I would.
haven't felt that with Zelda yet, but
Mhm.
I have felt the pull of that. Like I can feel when I play Zelda, I can feel myself slowly but surely starting to get that Skyrim feeling in Breath of the Wild. I haven't reached it yet though. And I feel like once I reach that point, then I can be start to think maybe this is like a goat or anything like that. I'm
I
not
would.
at that level yet though.
I would
But I could
argue
easily say it's a 8.5 minimum, 9 right now for me.
disrespect. I would argue with Skyrim, like maybe that's I could see that argument as a role playing game, but I don't find I mean like I haven't played a ton of Skyrim, but I didn't find anything all that compelling to just like walk around. And part of that is because so much of it is like getting into the weeds of like, oh, I love these quests or I love these people in this world, but it's like the act of doing things is not fun.
Yeah.
Traversal isn't like traversal's a blast in Breath of the Wild. Running around, fun. Running around in Skyrim, eh.
Yeah.
Combat in Skyrim sucks. Like it's not
it's
even
not
It's
it's
not
not
fun.
the it's not the best in Skyrim. I can't dispute that. It's not the
Magic is
best.
fine, but like man, sword to sword or like physical weapons, ugh, rough. Breath of
Yeah,
the
it's
Wild, fun. Picking
eh.
apples, fun in Breath of the Wild. Doing and climbing stuff, man. I haven't had that much fun climbing like ever.
I've had more fun climbing in Shadow of the Colossus than I did in Breath of the Wild. I'll say that much.
Get out of here. Meanwhile, the sound design in Breath of the Wild, like unmatched. Just
I
just how like the just all the sounds like the little blinking like I have nostalgia for the little blinking
for the
that your
shrine.
meter makes whenever you're near a shrine. I'm just like fun is
It's
about to be had, guys.
for me. I hear it. I'm just like, can I find it so I can shut that up? Actually, can I
Oh, I love it,
please
man. That game
blink, 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 blink? Like, all right, I
so
know
good.
it's somewhere. I'll be finding it soon. Let's find it so we can just
I
turn
believe you
that
can
on.
turn it off if you don't like it.
I can, but then it's just a matter of like, all right, well now I gotta like just aimlessly wander for shrines, and I'd rather not aimlessly wander for shrines. It's only annoying when it's like I know I'm in the vicinity of it, and I'm going
That can be
towards it.
annoying. I'll give you that.
Like I'm in the vicinity, I'm going towards it, and like I'm also doing other stuff at the same time. Then it's annoying, but like that's a more minor thing than anything. But that's where I am with Breath of the Wild. Still enjoying it. I put it on pause that way I could play right now Final Fantasy 13 too, because it's going to be leaving Game Pass beginning of December. And if I didn't start it now, chances are there was no way I was going to finish it before it left Game Pass. So Breath of the Wild, I will return to it probably after the slew of games is done. So maybe in December is when I'll return to it. I still got time before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. But 13.2 started it this week. I am like a good chunk of the way through the game, like 18 hours in. I just finished, for those who have played the game, just finished doing the tower, the technical tower where you fight the proto Falsi. For those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So far, I said this on Twitter. The 13 trilogy so far, they have good concepts and ideas for stories, but the execution is where it falls flat. Like this story revolves around time travel, and when you don't explain the rules for time travel up front, you just end up with it. Just it could end up being a mess, and that's part of my issue with the story with this. The time travel aspect that was hasn't really been explained all that well, but then also the story kind of sort of seems like a bit like bouncing all over the place. And I mean, narratively, you kind of are, but because of that, it kind of doesn't feel as, I guess you could say, coherent or straightforward in a sense that 13's was. 13's problem for me was I didn't really care too much about most of the characters for most of the time, and it front loaded you with a bunch of stuff that it expected you to kind of know as if you knew already, but you didn't know it. Teach me this stuff, introduce me to this world of these concepts. Um, but the one through line that both these games have that I am all on board with is the combat. The combat system in 13 was great. I enjoyed it. The paradigm system, which brought like ATB with the job system and let you switch on the fly, kept things dynamic. It's back here in 13 too. I'm really enjoying it. It's super fun. And the last boss fight against that Proto Fal'Cie really like exemplified that, where just constantly switching my jobs on the fly and everything like that. Like, all right, start the fight. You go to my job to put up our buffs and everything. All right, now switch to heal everybody up. All right, now we're going to do some attacks. All right, I got to switch back again to defend real quick. Now switch again, do some more attacks and everything. Switch to heal. Like it, the way it was all working out just felt so awesome, so good. Really enjoyed it. So the combat system, battle system, great for 13 too. The story, it's shaky. It's shaky, but I am enjoying it, and I may finish it this weekend. If not, it'll be done sometime soon, for sure. Though, that's why I am with that one. Have you ever thought about playing Final Fantasy 13 or any other Final Fantasy game aside from 7 Remake?
No. Well, maybe some of the ones outside of 7 Remake, because I'm going to play Crisis Core probably. But I was thinking about doing a bit once you were just like, it's leaving Game Pass at the end of December. I was gonna be like, you hear that, nerds? It's leaving Game Pass. It for a long time, Final Fantasy was like the typical like, listen, I'm a fucking dork, but I'm not a nerd. You know what I'm saying? I just like there's just that level. And then I played 7 Remake and I was like, actually, especially like the politics of the game, I was like, this is pretty rad. And so it was like kind of the perfect gateway drug for me, but also it does get super anime-ish at the end. And I was like, yeah, this is like what I was afraid it might be, but I'm like, but I'm into it a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm eased in, so I'm like, maybe I should finish the 7 stuff before I take a full dive into the other stuff, because I may not like it if I don't wrap up 7, which I'm invested in 7 now. So playing the rest for sure.
I'll say 7 Remake does more anime stuff than 7 proper did. I'll say that much. Like with the whole all the whispers and everything and everything. That's not in the original game at all. That took a total left turn entirely. I will say, if you are interested in another one, I can't help but recommend 10. 10 was my first one.
Yeah, no, 10's the one you're big on.
10, well, that's not my favorite. 15 is my favorite. 10 is my girlfriend's favorite, but that's the first one I played. It's a really solid game. And it even like kind of touches on, I mean, religion is at the core of that game. So, and like themes of that and how that spreads and all like that. It's a really great game. Like the enemy of that game is called sin.
Okay. Wait. So is it, quick question, is it like questioning religion or is it pro religion? Just,
I guess you could say questions, because the whole like it's tough to explain without kind of spoiling certain aspects of the game, but the whole world basically follows one religion, and there are some people who don't believe it, and they're kind of, I guess you could say, ostracized by the super religious people in the world. They're kind of seen as the cause of the problems that the world is experiencing. And yeah, and there are people in the world who follow the religion, Yuna being one of them. She's a summoner who go on a pilgrimage to get support from the faith, which are older spirits. They get the support from their faith to get their aeons, their summons, to use to fight this enemy named Sin and give the world 10 years of peace and all like that. It's a good game. And also the battle system is great too, turn-based as well, but it's not like ATB system. It's like there is an order to turns and time, like move, like so you could take your time basically deciding what you want to do and everything like that. Like it's a really great game. Really great game, really fun. It's always a great recommendation for an entryway into Final Fantasy. 10 is like that great entryway of it's more modern, but it's still like has the turn-based system of the older games. It's still turn-based like the older ones were and everything. It's really
16 great. Looks cool. I'll probably play 16 as well.
Oh, I'm on 16 day one for sure. For sure. I'm going to get my girlfriend a PS5 sometime soon, but definitely so she could play 16 because she didn't have a PS4 when 15 came out, and she played 15 a few years ago because I gave her my copy and she enjoyed it. She liked it quite a bit. So, but she was like, "Man, it sucks I wasn't there when it came out, you know, like 'cause I would have been in there like when all the art and everything was being made and stuff." So
Yeah.
16 definitely want to get there day one for that, you know, even if she like doesn't end up liking the game, you know, that way. If she does, she, you know, she's there day one on the ground floor with all of us there for it.
Yeah.
All right. And the last game that I have been playing recently has been We Are OFK. Came out in September. No, it came out in August, middle of August, and then did like weekly episodic releases for the rest of it into September. Been excited for this game for a while, ever since it was first announced. Did you hear about this game?
I remember. I forget what conference it was announced at, or if it was like a state. I think it was a state of play. Um, and it looked cool. I was like, yeah, that looks good. And then, like, I didn't even see the release date, and I think it was, shout out again, Janet Garcia, just being like, yeah, this game, not it. Like, the episode one was fine, and then it's just, and it was like one of those ones where it wasn't just that somebody said it's bad, it's that like the way she described it just kind of being annoying. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like it could be annoying. Maybe I'll, if it's ever on like free on PlayStation Plus or it's on the catalog or whatever, maybe I'll give it a shot to see if I agree. But I definitely not something at that point I felt like I want to go out of my way to spend money on when there's all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I saw a tweet of hers that she tweeted about it, and like some tweets that she put out about it. I didn't listen to like anyone's podcast episodes or read any reviews about it because at the time I wasn't sure if I was going to review it. And if I'm going to review a game, I don't read anyone else's reviews. I try not to because I don't want to potentially have anyone's words in my head when I'm doing my own review and all like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't read anything or like hear anyone's more in-depth thoughts on it. But I did see that she was like, yeah, the first episode or two was cool, but then after that, it kind of fell off for her. For me, I've been into this game mainly because I'm like, I like music and all like that. Like I'm like music is one of my passions and all. So, and I'm also in a narrative game. So a story about, you know, a group of people coming together, making the band and all like that. I was like, all right, I'm into that. And I like the art style and I like the sound of the music that we were hearing and all the trailers and stuff. So played the game. I've only played the first two episodes. I was gonna do all five. It's really not a long game. The game is just under 6 hours long. I was gonna do all five over the weekend, but I think it was I did episodes one and two on I think a Friday and then or on a Saturday, and I was gonna do three, four, and five the next day, but then I didn't. I think I just ended up playing like something else instead. I forgot what happened.
It happens.
Yeah, but so the game again, narrative game, and you know you play as each of the characters. Really, we don't really play as them. It's more like this like 5-10 minute section will, you know, it's this character. When you're playing as the characters, you're more so just like picking the dialogue choices that end up getting said. And it's even then, like the story, it's not a I guess here's how I'll put this up front. When I say a narrative game, it's not a narrative game like a Telltale game or Life is Strange, where like you are picking dialogue choices that change the narrative or impact the narrative. This is not that at all. This is more of a narrative game in the sense of there is a story that we are telling you. Any dialogue you choose is just a flavor. It's just like here's the flavor I want to throw out right now. Essentially, here's what I want the character to say, but it's not going to impact anything or change anything. There's a lot of time where the characters will be texting each other, and you literally just press X, just like a dialogue will be like, "Oh, here's the message that they're gonna send." You press X, and then they send that message. Like you really have no sway or change over the story or the outcome, which I don't have a problem with. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. But I think it does cause the game to end up feeling like an interactive movie, which again, not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know. It just ends up feeling like, okay, I'm just kind of going through the motions. I'm just kind of pressing the button to make things move forward. Where I don't feel like I have much of a say in things. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I don't know if I thought that it was going to be different, or I thought that I would have had more of a say in things. But it does just feel like, okay, I'm just pressing X to see the next scene, as opposed to, oh, I'm kind of choosing kind of what happens. I'm kind of having a sway on the story and all like that. Um, I don't know. I guess like it does just feel like a interactive movie, and like I'm sitting here for an hour and just boop boop boop. And that's not to say the story isn't interesting. The story is interesting. Some of the characters, like the characters are all, I like the characters. Itsumi, she's like the one that you kind of start everything with. She's really fun and cheery and all. She works at a game company, but she wants, really do music, and she has her own relationship problems and all that she's trying to work through and stuff. There's Luca, who worked at the same game company too, and he's also like, everyone has music at their heart and their passion and everything like that, but they're also dealing with their relationship problems. There's Jay and Carter, and the things that they're dealing with too, and all like that. And like there was a moment in one of the episodes that actually kind of spoke to me, where I believe it's Luca. Uh, uh, I think at this point, Luca, they're not working at the game company anymore. I forgot what it was they were doing, but having a conversation with someone, I forgot who it was, essentially boiling down to, I want to do what my life's passion is, that being music for him. I want to do that, but at the same time, I want to do this other thing too. Like I'm torn between things I want to do in my life, like things that, like these are both things that like matter to me and mean a lot to me. But like, what do I do? Am I good enough to do one? Am I good enough to do the other? Like, what do I do? And like that moment right there really spoke to me. I was like, man, like I really like this stuff in the story, like these human heart to heart moments like this. Like it's a story that I feel like at least 2 episodes in, you can maybe like see some, a person could see some of their self in, or connect with the story on some level and all like that. Um, but it's just, I don't know, something about it. Just like the pacing. I don't know if it's the pacing for me or the way the story is unfolding and how it unfolds. Again, you're just pressing X. It's a little Duke thing. It's like press X to make the story go forward. Press X to make the story go forward without much sway over anything. Press X to make the characters say what they were going to say anyway. Like I feel like that kind of right there just kind of just, it takes me out of it some. Just kind of like, all right, just boop. Kind of makes it not a. I don't know if I say a chore, because a chore feels a bit harsh. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I think you kind of get what I'm kind of going for from it. And then there's also the music, I guess you could say. Each episode you have like a music video that you end up doing. Like the song was made for that episode and all like that. And the songs are fine, at least from the first two I've done. The first song I actually liked a lot. That's the one they've kind of used in their trailers and their marketing and all. Mm-hmm. The thing is, they're interactive, so like you're doing stuff during them. So like in the first one, you're like swimming through water and collecting cats and all like that. In the second one, when you're Luca, you're kind of like going to other versions of yourself to kind of like give yourself energy and all. It plays into his story in that episode and all like that, because he's depressed and everything. He's trying to find a way to build himself back up and stuff. But even the music videos, quote unquote music videos, they're not that engaging. Like the first one I was talking about, where you're swimming through water. It's like you're swimming underwater collecting bits, and then like it just randomly cuts to you collecting cats, and then it cuts to you doing something else. I forgot what it is. And it's like, we're doing these things, but why? Like, why is this what I'm doing for the music video? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even the Luca thing, where you're like going to different parts, like collecting him, like it's slow. Like you walk slow to 3 versions and you fill yourself up. And then like it cuts to you in space, and then like you're kind of collecting different dots on the rings of Saturn for some reason. Doesn't necessarily explain why, but you're doing that. And it's like, I'm doing this and it's fine, but it's not like all that engaging. Like I don't feel like, it's like, why do I need to do this?
It sounds like it should have just been a visual novel.
Probably. And like when I think of the music videos that you're doing, I compare it to like Sayonara Wild Hearts, where like that entire game is essentially one long music video, but each level is infinitely more engaging than the music videos that you're doing in We Are OFK. Like not only are they shorter, like some of them are like only a minute long, but like the songs are really fun, and like you're doing a whole lot of stuff. You're dodging enemy, you're dodging obstacles, you're shooting things, collecting things at the same time. It's just so much more fun and exciting and engaging just at its core than We Are OFK's music video. So like I think We Are OFK with these 2 episodes I've done is okay. It's an okay game. But I wouldn't like say someone's wrong for like taking their time to get to it and all like you are. Like I do want to finish it. I may finish it this weekend. I don't know. Between that and 13-2, something's got to give.
Gotta be honest, doesn't sound like I'll play it. And I'll just say there's only room for one Luka in my life, which is Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks.
Did not know did not know about him at all. I don't really.
Oh man, he's football. Like, no, it's not football. It's basketball. So he's like one of the.
Oh, I sound so stupid.
You're good. You're good. He's like
so dumb. I know that team.
There's the whole thing of like the NBA does not have the same level of marketability as like other sports. So there's even less household names. It's like you'd probably be a good litmus test of someone. Sounds like you don't watch any basketball. Like how many NBA players can you name? Like probably LeBron, KD, and that's it.
Here's the thing.
Oh, maybe Kyrie because of everything.
I could probably name a fair amount because I know a good amount of names, but like off the top of my head, I know all these names, but I might forget them. But you say the name, I'll know it. So like gotcha. Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, Kyrie. What's his name with the beard?
James Harden.
James Harden. I know him.
Giannis.
Wait, say it again.
Giannis.
The name sounds familiar.
The Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay, I was gonna say Antetokounmpo, but same name, right? Same person. Then there's the other guy, something Green. I forgot his name. His first
Draymond.
Name. Him, Draymond Green. The Ball brothers. Okay. And then if you want to say like even older players, I mean, of course, Kobe. Dirk Nowitzki. What's his name? Who was it that dated Kim Kardashian for a hot minute for like 72 days?
That's like he's not even good. You're talking about the one that she married, or are you talking
the one
about
she married for like 72 days?
Oh yeah, he's not even. I forget that guy's name, but it's not like he was anybody of consequence. He's just riffraff.
Yeah, I know names. I know names. If you say them, okay. I'll be like, I know that person. But ask me to list them all off the top of my head, I might stop at the moment.
Yeah, Luke is a little newer, but I mean, he's still like, I mean, he's only 22 years old, and he's like basically it's good or better than all of them. Like it's really just him and Giannis at the top. They're the best players in the NBA, pretty much.
Well, I mean, he's already doing better than Luka and We Are OFK, so already off to a great start right there. But yeah, that's all I've been playing recently, and that's where I am on We Are OFK. Fine game, I'll finish it. Just not as high on it as I hoped I would be, unfortunately.
Understandable.
But that's it. That is this episode of the Play to Win podcast. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. Woo.
First one
down.
Here, the co-host in the bag. This was a fun one. Definitely looking forward to doing so many more with you, Tyler. This is going to be great. 2 T's on a pod.
It's going to
be fun. Let's go. You already know, guys. I was going to do the closing stuff. And I was going to do one thing, which I normally do second, first. And I was like, no, that's not what you do. But then my mind was like, commit, and just did so many things all at once. Head over to our site, playtowingames.wordpress.com. It's a home for all of our content. You can read the written reviews that I've done over there, impressions over there as well. Just a home for everything. So check it out. Head us up over on Twitter and Instagram at PlayToWinGame for updates on the show and other things that we may or may not post over there. Also on YouTube, subscribe to the Play to Win YouTube. Hit the notification bell while you're there so you know as soon as videos go live. Also, subscribe on podcast services. Leave that 5-star review. If you are on YouTube, in the comment section, in addition to liking and sharing the show, in the comment section, I want you to let me know why Kirby, let Tyler know why Kirby is actually a really great game. And
listen, man, I give it an 8. What do you want from me?
If you believe it's better than Super Mario Odyssey, let him know why you think it's better than Super Mario Odyssey.
If you're wrong, let me know why you're wrong.
I mean, sure. If that's how you want to look at it. But I mean, Tyler's wrong in this case. He's wrong about this. He's wrong about Red Dead Redemption 2 not being a great game or an amazing game.
Listen, I gave that an 8.5.
Okay, that is great technically, but not being an amazing game, not being like a game of the generation contender right there.
It is a game. The gameplay sucks. Story's great though. Story's great. That's very long.
Very debatable.
It gets a little tiring, but still really good. Great dialogue, great writing, great voice performances.
Yeah, and let us know also what game you're looking forward to for this fall season, this holiday season. What are these big games you're excited for? There's a lot of stuff coming this way.
Yep. Follow.
I was gonna say, Tyler, where can people find you and all that stuff?
Well, they could have possibly been directed here by the page they already follow, but if not, by all means, go. There will be clips and stuff posted, and then I also just post my own stuff. GG, we lost, or I think on YouTube it's a full good game we lost, but on TikTok I had to get GG, we lost. But either of those, I post shorts and TikToks. I post a little bit on IG Reels, but honestly, it doesn't do numbers, doesn't seem to pull in some like new eyes the same way. So it's just one of those things where I don't really care about it anymore, if I'm being real.
Got it. All right. And then that's it. That's the only ones you want to share? Social media? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't view my Twitter as an official like endorsement of the pod at this point. So it's just just me talking shit.
I mean, hey, if you want to share it, by all means, go ahead. I always share my personal Twitter.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, totally fine.
Have the official channels represent me.
Got it. Totally fine then. You all know you can follow me over on Twitter at TylerMiller2496, where I talk about games industry, games I'm playing, any movies or stuff I'm watching. She-Hulk this week was awesome.
I've fallen off Marvel so bad, man. I don't care anymore. I know I need to watch some of the movies, but like shows, we're far past that point.
Totally.
And not even that like She-Hulk looks bad. Like the whole discourse over that is kind of so dumb, but it's just a general Marvel malaise is more what it's about.
Yeah. No, yeah. She-Hulk, the finale did some fun stuff. Did some really fun,
I saw some screenshots of some stuff that looked pretty funny. So
it was cool stuff. And also anime, tweet about that too. My Hero season 6 going on. Woo-hoo! Gonna watch that after we record today, actually. Forgot about that. Oh yeah, My Hero's awesome. I'm a weeb. I'm sorry.
It's cool, man.
I'm not a
you got that corner. Weeb. You've got that corner covered, and then I've got I just made a basketball joke. I've got all the sports stuff on my end, and then video games is the middle ground.
All right, there we go. We meet in the middle right there. Meet in the middle. All that said, thank you all so very much for watching.
Yeah, have a great day. Have a great day, night, week, whatever, guys.
Have a great one. Talk to you all later.